And here we are in the darkness of space. Welcome, viewers, voidminers, players, GMs. This is the Stillfleet Studio stream of Stillfleet the RPG, and we have an amazing crew of GMs and players, multiple of each, for this epic two-part finale to an ongoing campaign that was a community West Marches style campaign that's gotten pretty wacky, pretty high level on our server. And with us today are not all of the players who played in it, but a broad selection who are going to join us for a two-part venture closing out the exploration of NARM, the ultrastructure, which you'll hear more about. Next weekend is part two. So if you're enjoying this and you want to find out what happens in the final finale, then tune in 2 p.m. on Sunday, March 29th. So you can watch on Twitch or YouTube, and you can catch up later on YouTube and possibly other places if we ever make this a podcast or something. With that, thanks to all our players and GMs. I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer. GM Jennifer, do you want to introduce us to where we are in time and space?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to NARM. As you might be aware, NARM is as far as anyone knows, infinitely long black straw of unbreakable stone that stretches into no one knows how many higher dimensions. Its diameter is roughly the same as that of Earth's moon, and all of you find yourselves here for whatever reasons, which we might discover later on, to investigate what sort of both horrors and opportunities might lurk in the graveyard of civilizations and cultures and dimensional rifts that NARM may or may not contain. But as you have been exploring the Hellstraw, as it is affectionately known amongst the people who make their homes here, a threat has emerged that you all are now needing to encounter and might need to do something about. Because 5 millennia ago, the Late Tephnian hegemony ended in a brief and brutal civil war, and the Dukes of the Reigning Geometries disappeared to fates unknown. And now hurtling down the light years long, unbreakable black stone straw of NARM, the Duke of the Red Pyramid is returned from the higher dimensional Escheresk, focused on one goal, namely, reach the baleful core, which is the single space-time gate, or stiffworks, at the only known entrance to the Hellstraw. The baleful core connects NARM to the space station Spindle, which many of you may call home, and from there to countless other worlds known and unknown across the rest of the universe via many other stiffworks. Unfortunately for you, all that stands in the way of the Red Duke is a small, cramped space station, your home so far over the last months that you have lived here, called the Godown, and the voidminers that inhabit it, the employees of the Worshipful Company of Stillfleeters. You've come to NARM to explore its mysteries and plunder its ancient technological treasures, and although this hasn't happened yet, likely die in its infinite depths. So the question that we are asking in this game is, can the Red Duke be stopped, or are we going to witness the return of the tyrannical Tephnian hegemony across all of the known universe? So with that in mind, I think we should turn to the Godown and see how things are progressing there.
Great. Well, you are all voidminers at your stations, battle ready, having lived through the last several ventures. You know what's up. Your boss, Senior Archivist Amago, is in the laboratory module and has called in whoever is not frantically doing something else. And this is for a briefing, and she has said over the intercom, this is the final briefing. So before we get into the final briefing, who is in the laboratory module? Who is rushing in to answer the call for one last venture for the company? Maybe if we can call people out, maybe you can turn and see one of your compatriots when you're done. So I will go with, I think, Hans, you raised your hand. Who is Cecil?
Hello. So we see Cecil, who is a provincial, which means a human, but not from any of the cool planets. He is a Rati, which is like a scout fighter class, And in a previous venture, he has been contaminated with capital B blood, which means he has some cool other powers, which I'm sure will come up. I will be surprised if they don't. So what does he look like? Human, 2 long rifles strapped across his back, which I rolled for previously. Looks very cool. And he's the scout, so he's supposed to be ahead of the party. So he rushes into the lab first, followed by, or maybe carrying Hell.
So, it seems like on the way to the lab, Cecil quickly stopped by the equipment store to grab a small, unassuming wristwatch carrying Hal Monitor, the Orcs, which is an informatic being. So this is a sort of seemingly artificial intelligence, I will say, although there may be depths beyond that, housed within a wristwatch that sort of projects various things out of it when the time comes. And this is a factor, so sort of helps to coordinate missions. And yeah, is strapped to Cecil's wrist and is eagerly scanning the room when Rochella enters.
All right. I'll be playing Rochella, the Void Pilgrim. I am him, a Mulgulm, a kind of space lichenoid whose his head in particular resembles a little bit of a mushroom, and much like Kevin from the SpongeBob SquarePants TV show, it is not a hat. He does resemble a cowboy in passing only, and he is technically a peer, a doctor. How much healing does he actually do? A little bit. Sometimes he did some, recently even. He's technically a trained therapist. Is he actually like emotionally supportive? Is he functionally a sociopath because he has alien brain body? Kinda, sorta. But he's doing his best, just like anyone else. Just like this person he's never met before, somehow never been introduced to. I believe Falling Brooch Gainer is in the room.
Yes, we find Falling Brooch Gainer wandering in, trying to carry his bike, which is connected also to a contraption. Falling Brooch Gainer is, of course, a Waiton, just your garden variety mantis person, and we all know what a mantis person looks like. They've got 6 limbs, and a Falling Brooch Gainer, of course, just keeps moving constantly and is always jittery, hyper-vigilant, compelled to be here for reasons of their own, potentially, and is looking around, waiting for this mission briefing, and probably sees... we see Alex normal human as well. Maybe.
Yeah, Alex, being a very normal looking human in the shape of a Wetton Mantis man, but he has sunglasses, so he's very cool. Alex is a witness. Well, he used to be a Rossi, but through clerical errors and misinterpretations on his part, he thought that he was this very good, able speaker of RASP, so the Wetton language. Alex is not feeling that great in general today because he's a little troubled by presence that is with him, and that has been for just a little while, just enough to be uncomfortable still. That he met while away on his last mission with Rochella and Mike, who enters the room after Alex.
Mike is a human conscript, so somebody born on Terra who was adopted by the conscripted, to put it literally, and put through a series of experiments until he could think his way around physics. My personal casting for Mike is Jonathan Banks, though sort of puckered skin and with a parasitized right arm. Mike's got a multicolored plastic sort of chainmail on over a biking outfit, and walks into the room. Whoa, Alex, you doing okay? I know when we left the city, and yeah, you went through some things. You okay, Alex?
I talked to yeah, I'm perfectly myself. I'm fine now. Yeah. No. Yeah. Doing my thing, no, I'm not doing that great. I'm not.
Yeah, no, that was a lot. I mean, you ate so much goo.
Yeah, it was disgusting, It was I healed myself a little bit through goo. It was a cleansing moment, but it was a cleanse that involved bowel movements, and that's never a good cleanse, is it?
Yeah, I've been there myself, but let's not get into that. Let's, Imago, what are we all here for?
Do we have the factor introduced, Harry? Do we now see a projection of Hal kind of coming in online?
Yes, so Hal will kind of project from the wristwatch that he's based on. Just he has a variety of sprites and avatars, and in this case, given the situation, he projects sort of a poster of Lord Kitchener, saying, "Your company needs you."
Excellent. So Hal, the automated factor, is now online, and Imago takes her tablet that she normally shows you scientific data on, so analyses of different spectra of optical and different wavelengths of light, different information streaming in, levels of ionizing radiation, all kinds of quantum entangled information from distant probes, chatter that the company's been able to spy upon thanks to your efforts from even void elf emplacements that you've learned about. And she turns it over and just shows you that everything is now sort of going off the charts. And she sort of is showing it mostly to Hal and is speaking sort of in medias res about scientific data in a way that at first, she often starts her briefings with the science and sounds excited and has to kind of dumb it down. And then you realize she's very anxious, and she seems to be implying that this is your problem now in a very final sense. Not like this is your problem today to solve because it's your job. It's more like, I am leaving. This is your problem. You're sort of next in command. So she is very clearly briefing you on radiation levels rising throughout NARM. So NARM is a seemingly infinitely long stone tube, many, many light years long, roughly the diameter of Luna, the moon. And you are at the station at the one known entrance, a few thousand kilometers back from that entrance. And at the entrance is the Stiffworks, the time-space gate to Spindle. There's a shuttle that goes back and forth. You are on this little, imagine a 1980s through today era ISS-style space station. There's solar panels. Even though there's no real soul nearby, there's little piezoelectric wiggle panels that kind of get energy from the void. And there's all sorts of drones spread out, some of which you've moved, a lot of which the company has remotely put in place over 6 decades or so. And they've very slowly gone deeper to NARM. And they're showing that all levels of radiation, gamma rays, all sorts of ionizing radiation, alpha beams, everything is really dangerous out there because the Duke of the Red Pyramid is coming from the Asherask, from the other end of NARM at relativistic speeds, and has been changing the physics of whatever is within NARM. And it looks like a roiling red mist is filling up the straw. It's almost like someone is taking a big sip of horrible, molten, self-replicating nano goo. And due to this, she is freaking out about, needing to have more shielding, and there is no physical way she knows of to do this in time. So she's recommending a total evacuation and has told all the non-void miners, so the canteener or Ulk diver class workers, that they can just leave. Their shuttle will take them to the Baleful Core. They can go back to Spindle. She would rather not have them die pointlessly because there is no way to shield the Godown, the station. However, you are void miners. You are trained to handle these emergencies, so she's going to give you the data and kind of leave it up to you. She says, now that's not even the problem, and swipes the screen. And then you see what looks like a Space Invaders kind of graph of the Godown and nearby hulks. And instead of just your usual Sepidin-class shuttle, so a little red cuttlefish the size of 2 school buses, the Nettle Shield, or the Nettle Shield's cousin, lover, consort, you see a host of small, vaguely humanoid, sort of tentacular, very quickly moving Late Tephnian war machines. These are what she calls harbingers. They have different names of very Late Tephnian mecha class, and they have often changed themselves over the intervening thousands of years. This group clearly represents a group that is antagonistic to softies, to intelligences that are not war machines made of nanites. They are coming toward the Godown. And she shows that there are several groups on the move. It looks like at least 4, she's guessing, 3 of which seem hostile. But she is very worried about some of these smaller ones closer to the Godown. None of them are as close as Nettle Shield, so she's, you can sort of zoom out and you see that it's still thousands of kilometers, but they're moving very quickly. So there's sort of 2 different issues, even before the Duke of the Red Pyramid gets here, which is radiation, and it looks like bogies, hostile war machines. So she gives you the tablet. You are projection, so the tablet drops onto, I guess, Hans or Richella kind of grabs it. But you now have all the data. You actually have the tablet that is the parent command tablet for the Godown. So she just clicks like are you sure you want to transfer your authorization? And she like keys in something and is like, yep, yeah, it's his problem. Or their problem, and hands it to Hal. What does everyone do? You can ask questions. She's not running away, but she is literally packing up the lab and leaving as you guys talk.
Well, I will miss having you around here. Once we sort all this out, I'm sure you'll be able to come right back. Now, I was looking to use some of the equipment around here to configure my device. I believe I'd mentioned it to you previously. I assume I have your permission to do any of that in your absence.
Yeah. She lets you all dig through her drawers of like oddments and tools. There's not a lot of immediate utility for like fighting per se, but there's lots that is valuable. She can't bring it all back with her, and she'd rather that if you can use it to save the Godown or save yourselves or stop the Duke of the Red Pyramid from getting to Spindle, by all means, fuck that motherfucker up. And she just gives you the keys. I mean, she literally has a key ring and tosses it at Richella.
Roll move.
Yeah, it's awkward, clanging around. Yeah. Any questions? How does Hal react?
So Hal is now projecting sort of flashing red lights that say "Do not panic." Lots of signs that say "Do not panic" with a lot of very panic-inducing sounds, and actually urgently pinging messages to the hulks that are usually within communications range, so the Nettle Shield, and any other hulks that could be in the vicinity. Are there any such hulks around?
One of the inbound hulks was Consort, who had come close and then was leaving and is coming close again. So this is another shuttle, unarmed Late Tephnian shuttle, where there are some ex-void miners essentially living.
Okay, so I think Hal would first ask Amargo. So yeah, the voice would sort of project from the watch. Amargo, have we had contact from any of the hulks on where they stand in this conflict?
We've had a lot. If you go to my live analysis, it says Hulk chatter, Wraith chatter. It'll show sort of, it's summarizing, it's doing a word cloud, and she's having sort of her version of like an LLM look at different data from different kinds of Late Tephnian war machines and decode it, and it's grouped them into 4 word clouds, one of which is like a soft purple that's good, and the words are things like help the softies or like coexistence. It's like the coexist fish bumper sticker. And then the other like 90% are various versions of like ripping apart, metabolizing, you know, creating what's techno strudel question mark, like maybe mistranslation, you know. So there's kind of all manner of descriptive, poetic ways that the Godown is going to be ripped apart by essentially members of what she is classifying as a group of wraiths called the Monster Church, who believe they are sort of techno supremacist. They owe nothing to the, you know, in their view, devolved descendants of the humans who created them thousands of years ago, asked them to research this area, and then disappeared. And they have finally decided, with the arrival of the Duke of the Red Pyramid, that the Duke must agree. The Duke is now composed entirely of nanites, it seems, and they are very happy for that. So they're all going to sort of join this this new movement of sort of techno chauvinism.
So these harbingers that are coming, these are unmanned vessels, or I'm just saying I find it a lot easier to shoot humanoids. Well, hitting it is easier, but damaging, not that equipped for it. So
all of the wraiths you know of are not inhabited by anything like you all, like humans and Waitons and such, other than Consort. So as far as you know, NARM is inhabited by various exploratory vessels and sometimes alien, essentially pilots, like pirates, like void elves, etc.
And from the data on the raves, I had to roll for this if needed. Is there any assessment of the sort of firepower of the sort of the different factions?
Yeah, that's a great question. Why doesn't everyone give me a reason check, and we'll do some successes here. And if you have any bonuses related to Late Tephnian technology or nanotechnology as a stratum, they would apply. So you're looking at the data on the pad and looking around the lab module.
You said reason check?
Yeah, reason check, yeah.
That's a 3. No good here.
It's a 9.
9 is good. 9 is an epic success.
I rolled my maximum, which is 16.
Hell yeah.
Well, you know, on a 16, all the individual names and the evolutions of the classes of these basically different kinds of very late Tephnian wraiths that have been spawned by other wraiths. These are the frigates that were brought here and have been waiting, have largely either been destroyed, gone insane, and or entered the Escher-esque, and or decided to do something, especially in the wake of the company's arrival 60 years ago, the company's ramping up of exploration in the last year, thanks to you all, especially because you've boarded some of these vessels, and now the arrival of their either boss or arch enemy, the Duke of the Red Pyramid, back from the Escher-esque after 5,000 years in threespace time and Terran time. And so some of them have given birth to babies. They've broken themselves up, and they've decided to take on forms that can effectively cannibalize whatever other vessels are around that disagree with them, and rebuild a future world in many higher dimensions as the Duke of the Red Pyramid rips through the Hellstraw and eventually the rest of time and space in the name of their own political beliefs that are not so good.
All right. So yeah, I only got a 16 because I have a power brain etching, which gives me perfect recall. It says giving me a +4. So it just reading from the rules, it looks like I'm twitching and muttering to myself as my mind automatically recalls random fact after random fact. Seems like it would be a lot of random facts. So yeah, you can all listen in or interrupt me while I maybe save some information for later.
I think it sounds like you're speaking, you're singing a song in Sumerian, like a heavy metal rap song about late Tephnian hegemony. And to recap, the politics of the post-humans who most recently had a many galaxies spanning empire that has fallen apart in a horrible civil war, the Wars of Succession, that lasted probably a second because these machines all move at relativistic speeds. But across many local systems, it played out, obviously, across time. They at the end had two great political affiliations, which they called the two geometries, the Gray Pyramid and the Red Pyramid. And the Gray Pyramid and Red Pyramid, in their fighting, destroyed almost all of humans' advanced society, and you all are the inheritors of its scraps, right? Thousands of years later, these are some of the advanced ships that were left behind who have now decided, finally, they have enough data to make a decision. And they have decided, after essentially abandoning politics and thinking, what is my mission, being in sort of existential angst for a long time and torpor, they have decided, oh no, we're doing this. We're back, baby. So you now know that, again, it's kind of a split. It's not as simple as 90-10. It's much more like multiple factions, but effectively there's a large group whom Senior Archivist Imago has dubbed the Monster Church, who believe that they are now sort of the evolution of all intelligence, of all sapience in the cosmos, and it is their duty to rid the world of these softies who just keep fucking things up, just cannot help failing. And they're going to do that with the help of their sort of god boss emperor, the Duke of the Red Pyramid, who was once the sort of the shogun of the blood and praises of Tephnian thousands of years ago, et cetera, et cetera. You know all the names, all the lore, all the flavor text on the magic cards, right, about these characters. Importantly, we should say one of the people from the Grey Pyramid, who is very high up, a spy, essentially, a noble influencer, named Ir-Kazul. I forgot their moniker, but it had crab in it. Ir-Kazul is on a ship called Massbreaker that is a powerful frigate that made toward the end of Late Tephnian hegemony by the Grey Pyramid as essentially a gigantic gun to shoot the Duke of the Red Pyramid, because they suspected the Duke would disappear through NARM into higher dimensions, since NARM dips into all times and spaces as it travels on and on. So you do have one ally deep down with a gun pointed at the Duke of the Red Pyramid, and the current plan, as far as you know, is that they have powered up Massbreaker, they're taking aim, and they are going to fire. Other than that, you have very few allies. You have the Hulks that have been named throughout the campaign, the Wraiths that you've made contact with. You have Consort, presumably, still on your side. But in terms of big, scary mechs, no. You guys don't have really any. They have a lot. Imago is leaving at this point. Like, she has like a duffel bag full of her equipment that she really needs. A bunch of it are just like multi-headed little like lab rats with like tools coming out of their backs. You know, she likes to experiment and have little helpers. They all have names. The names are just numbers, alphanumerics. And she is ready to bounce. So any last questions for Imago?
Hal is going to message to the group and say, following standard protocol, if all agree, I will transmit your messages to your loved ones into a drive, which then ejects towards Imago for her to take through the stiffworks and say, we should now all assume that everyone here is dead.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Well, good luck. Let's hope Massbreaker kills the bad guy, and if not, and even if he does, it's possible the rest of them, the littler ones on the thing I showed you, will kill you. I'll be all right. But in any event, I'm going to put you all down as dead, and that will automatically increase your pay if you end up being alive. So if you can make it back, there's a little something extra for you. And I'm not talking about a gift card. I'm not going to write a gift card, but you will get paid more. You think for a moment she's going to hug one of you, and then she doesn't. She turns and leaves. And
brushes a little bit of lint off your shoulder. Okay.
Yeah, I think she just like takes the tablet and like checks one last time something, and then it's like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like she corrects like one setting and like just gives it back. She's gone. Gardamillions, the backup Banshee, who's not a Banshee, is a Drod herder, a void miner who can, a trained technician who can use the stiffworks, but is not trained as a void miner to go out into space. The Gelasti Gardamillions, she's gone. The janitor, whose name I already forgot, he's gone. You all are alone on the Godown. The Godown is not that big, but it's a lot bigger when all the NPCs who take care of it, who work the comms panels, who insert space team random sci-fi reference verbs now, who verb the nouns, when they're all gone, it's just room after room, and you guys, and a beeping tablet showing you imminent doom.
Can I push back on that? when I think when Rochella goes back to his lab to go assemble his little thing, maybe just like hear a little cart pushing, and there's just one little Gelasti. It's like, oh, I couldn't go anywhere even if I wanted to. I think I might have been born here. I don't think I can leave, actually. Anyway, have a nice day.
They're getting pulled by the others back to the dock to Nettle Shield.
That's all right. I'll just wake up here tomorrow anyway.
That may be the case, but yeah. So you have some time to plan. I think some other news may be imminently arriving.
So before anything else happens, just want to ask you all briefly, and anyone who has opinions on this is welcome to contribute. If you're still processing, that's fine. But how do you all feel about being the last line of defense against the end of the universe should the firing of Massbreaker fail? And why have you decided to not evacuate with the rest of the personnel on the station? So is there a key reason that you have decided to stay here? So if you have any thoughts about that, it would be great for you to either talk through that, or if you'd like to have that conversation with another one of your doomed comrades, you are welcome to do that as well. Does anyone have anything that they would like to say?
I think I go and see FBG and ask him in Rasp. So we're going to win, right? Right? Huh?
Falling Brooch Gainer looks a little jittery and motions a lot, but says, "Of course. Just have faith, you know."
Faith in because we're the good guys, right? I mean, for yeah.
we're Waitons, you know. We're always gonna be around.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, even though I've been doing some soul searching, lately, and I see where you're coming from with your we're wetin thing. I'm not sure I buy it. Maybe being a wetin is a state of mind, and it's not really my state of mind. But I can imagine that wetin people are very proud to be wetins, and that we're here to stay because we are. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, we did everything. We ticked every, like, even I was talking to Exalted Nest Weaver the other day in my head, and she looks as if she was very confident in our abilities, right? Very much so, right?
At the tone and the feeling of doubt that you're starting to show, Alex Normal Human, you both, Falling Brooch Gainer and Alex Normal Human, get a sudden wave of possibility and a certainty that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Falling Brooch Gainer will just say, "This is our home. Let's defend it and see what happens.
Do our best."
All right, excellent. Mike, looks like you want to say something.
Yeah, I think Mike would want to have a talk with Cecil. Just, hey, Cecil, where are you from? I know they said there are provinces out there. I've never been to any other province. I went from Terra home, the big blue one, to Spin, and haven't seen any of the world since. How's it like where you're from?
Yeah, Mike. I'm from Rugun, and looking back on it, I guess it was beautiful, but didn't seem so at the time. But now, yeah. Probably if you told me about this last week, maybe I would already have been there, but I was a bit caught by surprise. And well, yeah, guess I'm going to be doing my job for the next, well, however long this takes or however long we have.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think it was worth it? Sticking with the co? Every now and then, I think. I don't know. When the tech quake was over, should I have taken my chances and tried to run for one of the fire base? Should I have tried to get out?
I don't know,
They
man.
told me I could go home one day. Did they say that to you?
Nope. So yeah, I don't know. Keep thinking of it if it helps you. Otherwise, let's get it over with. Get the radiation shielded. Choose the thing. We'll see later.
I think we can do this. I think being here has changed us.
I'm not disagreeing.
All right, well, I'll let you finish your prep. Mike sort of wanders off to another capsule, sort of thinking about his time on Spindle, being strapped into a racing machine with the sort of VR goggles showing a perfect blue sky in front of him. Just thinking, was home like that? Is it gonna be like that? Yeah, I think while he's walking, he finds a little loop of string left behind by a doting dream dealer, and passively starts doing some cat's cradle while he thinks about, can I ever go home?
We can turn next to Cecil if there's anything else you want to talk about, or Rochella as well, if either of you want to jump in.
I think that that maybe Rochella is he's going through Imago's stuff, trying to get like a last little bit of something he needed for a project he was working on. Last time we saw him, he was stealing stuff, including a factor's grade comm. He was going to buy it, but everyone was too busy, so he just said, whatever. He just stole it. So now he's trying, finish this little attachment. He doesn't know if it's going to work. Maybe he's asked, it's like, Mr. Howe Monitor, you're an informatic being. Do you have any particular abilities for, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm very tired. I don't feel like I have enough time, but I don't know. I haven't got finished business here. Are you any good with technology, though? Are you? What is your deal, actually? I've never really gotten to know you before. We've been on a couple missions together, but I feel like I haven't really ever had a one-on-one with you before.
Yes, well, in my previous occupation, I was programmed to prevent people like you from doing things like this. I was a mall security program there to prevent shoplifting, such as you are very fond of. However,
I am fond of shoplifting. I'm just not fond of not getting things done. I just don't have any kind of, I don't know, reservations about doing it. Who's going to shop if the world comes to an end anyway? It's like we're supposed to be stopping or whatever. I mean, it's not really, I'm here to satisfy my curiosity more than anything. Insatiable urges and just cannot stop. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. But I mean, what makes you tick? Like, I mean, why have you're obviously not doing the task. You're not stopping me now. I don't know if you'd like to try it.
Your infractions are currently priority 9,554 on the list of urgent issues to address. So I will not be pursuing them. In fact, I find the present situation delicious.
I got carte blanche to help myself to whatever was left over, so I don't know what these infractions you're talking about are. As he says, he just rips open a cabinet and like pulls some wire. Perfect, that's what I needed. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that I'm low on your list of enforcement priorities, but it doesn't get to the core of the point. I mean, could you leave if you wanted to?
I suppose I could, but this radiation, it is delightful. And Cecil would feel his wrist heating up, possibly to the extent that it's quite painful now, as PCs might not know this, but Hal is sort of powered by at least a radiotrophic algae. And with the increased radiation levels, the power levels are certainly increasing. So Hal is pretty wired right now.
I have to agree, actually. I haven't been, I don't know, actually. Excited is not a word that I would generally use for myself, but I feel like things are on the verge of happening.
At that moment, Hal, you get a response to some of the pings that you've been sending out before. So a request for like an open communications channel.
Hal responds to the request immediately.
Hey, how's it going down there?
Things are going pretty badly. How are things there? Where are you? Who are you?
Oh yeah,
What's going on?
like everything sucks, but like, is she gone? Is the main question. We saw Nettleshield take off, so I just don't want to get arrested, I guess, is the main thing.
Ain't nobody here but us void miners.
Okay, awesome. All right, we're incoming. Do you think you can come and like say hi? I guess I don't even know where you guys are. This thing is it's looking bad out here. Let's just get this over with quickly, eh?
Yeah, we're on Godown. Where should we meet you?
Yeah, main shuttle bay. Let's go.
Affirmative. And Hal cuts the comm and communicates to the group. He says, okay, we will rendezvous with another party at the shuttle bay immediately. All please proceed now.
So as you all kind of gather from where you have been discussing or introspecting or preparing or whatever it is that you have been doing to kind of manage the reality that you currently find yourselves in. You rendezvous back kind of at one of these modules that is designed to interface with the Tephnian shuttles, usually used by Nettleshield, who is currently taking the last sort of group of void miners and Imago, well, void miners, personnel, the last people besides you on the Godown out to the Baleful Core to head back to Spindle. And you feel that kind of slight judder of the station as something connects to the Godown. And the airlock opens, and a few people step through that some of you may recognize. The first sort of walking out into the room to greet you is a fleeter wearing a like what looks like. Basically, she looks like an extra from like a Top Gun movie, basically. Like a leather jacket. She's wearing like aviator sunglasses. She's completely not the vibe. But she's got a huge grin on her face and a bit of a swagger. This is Ezekiel, who is the at least former senior Banshee on the Godown, who has been missing for a little while. And with her are two other people, Jesse and Wythe. Would you like to describe who's entering the Godown with Zeke?
Sure. So in a protective stance for the other one coming in is Akilv. She is a Shuddha. Currently, her head is sort of looking like a polyhedron, 10-sided. She has a lot of strange scarification on her. She has one or two extra arms every time you see her. it kind of changes. And she's wielding swords in all of them, and not saying a word yet, but looking like if anybody comes after the person who's coming after me, you're gonna get it.
Nice. And then behind, I think, with the aid of a sort of cloud of what looks like rust hanging in the air, like rust and meat. So sort of like a cloud a Monkey King would ride on, but gross, is a sort of red throne out of which, almost imperceptible at parts, so sort of the carbonated in form of a skeletal, at this point, sort of a tall, thin human, with no hair, and sort of somewhat feminine features, but sort of angular, longer features as well. And what once were wire tattoos of a fleeter, someone born to life on spindle, but they've all now just become sort of rusted patterns, so sort of geometric Nazca glyphs. She is sort of wheezing out, and the wheezes produce visibly sort of arcs, little rainbows of rust that form curlicules. That then dissipate. And this is Rooster. This is the original Banshee of the first team of voidminers sent far, into the beyond of NARM. And you've met many of the other Ambachters before, but yes, we now have Akilv, whom Jesse mentioned, and Rooster. And she is mostly going to be speaking via Zeke, via the Banshee who was with your group. And she does not look well. She looks, if anything, more sort of machinic. She also looks like she has a pretty dour look in general of sort of what's going on in the Godown, and the fact that Consort has just raced through sort of wall of wraiths who are threatening. And she may be mumbling a bit about this, which you may actually appear on your comms on that tablet. It may be sort of showing her speech there more than audibly through her mouth.
As Zeke walks in, she's just like, hey, so this sucks, huh? How's everybody feeling? End of the universe, hell yeah. What's going on?
Cecil briefly pauses from repetitively loading and unloading his rifles. And what do I roll to go for a fist bump with Zeke?
You can roll move if you want, but I would also give that to you for free.
It's better than my charm, so. Oh, 9.
I'm gonna roll as well. I rolled a 2, so she just misses it entirely. But you look very cool doing it. She's like, yeah, yeah, hey, great, good to see you. Yeah, awesome. So you guys seem a little bit down. Can't imagine why. This is all kind of a little complicated, huh? But don't worry. I'm sure it's all going to be fine. I mean, we had a plan, right? I'm pretty sure we had a plan. There's a plan?
Well,
Go ahead.
how do we get a plan without bringing up the mood first? So thank you for helping with that. And now we will look at whoever's most senior in the room, and I stare at my wrist.
So as you stare at your wrist, you feel it is getting very warm, and your wrist is getting some sort of very hot, sticky algae is sort of oozing from the watch and down your arm, and maybe even a little. Oh no, you missed the high five. Otherwise, perhaps some would have splattered. And Hal, kind of the projector goes, and he's very rapid fire as the sort of over energized core is firing off. And Hal says, "Hello, Zeke. Very good to see you. We are working on a plan. We think that the mass breaker with Irkazul may be the only option. Plus, there's that other thing that you and I were working on with closing down the whole of NARM. I think it may be time to close everything off, destroy everything, but maybe let's try mass breaker. Who knows? Pitches." And this sort of fires out spotlights from the watch on people at random. Starting with Alex Normal Human. Why not?
As Laura, as you're responding, as you say those words, Hal is just covered in a halo of rust, as Rooster is nodding in agreement at mention of shutting down the ability for people to come and go from NARM. And she sends over the tablet over and over again a warning that Massbreaker cannot stop this. But Laura, what is Alex doing as this warning is flashing?
Freaking out, but I'm very glad to see you, Zeke. I mean, I got sunglasses, and
Honestly,
I don't.
You look
Yeah.
You look great. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like the best. Like, this is as good as it gets. Out here in space, you gotta have sunglasses. I mean, this is look at this. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I have eyes under my sunglasses too.
That's
Like-
usually where they. Okay, yeah, you're doing great. That's perfect. Yeah, you've got this.
Yeah, I did your thing basically, but yeah, I mean, I'm not confident in anything, but I'm yes, I am very much so. Very happy to be here and in control of everything since I'm the best.
We love to hear it. That's the attitude that we want. Absolutely. Yeah, so about this whole like Massbreaker thing, I think that's happening pretty soon, but I mean, you might have seen it seems like that might be a little bit dicey. But we do have a backup plan. Like I said, I mean, maybe it should have been the main plan in the first place, but listen, it's I was gonna say it's gonna be fine. I think it's probably not gonna be fine. I think it's probably like 89-90%. It's probably not gonna be fine. But honestly, none of us will be here to care about that. So who cares? Whatever, right? We're just here to have a good time.
It's not as if we needed to travel back and forth, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who needs it? Like, we're having a great time here in NARM. This is where we all want to be, right? I mean, clearly you all stayed here, so I mean, you had a chance to leave, and you didn't take it. So, like, clearly this is where you want to be, right? Right?
Yeah.
I couldn't if I wanted to.
Well, exactly. I mean, you certainly can't now.
Yeah.
No problem.
Alex, normal human. As you're having this conversation and saying, yeah, I totally agree with Zeke. You hear in your head, and you can tell that nobody else is hearing this. No, we cannot do this. You must stop the Red Duke and Rooster.
Oh, okay. This is terrifying. So, Alex is still very much trembling in front of Zik and Rooster. And can I probe my own head? Like, how exalted that's we folk? How can we do this?
The Red Duke must be stopped.
By
Is
succeeding.
sort of the response that you're getting. So you get the sense that Exalted Nestweaver, who's in your head now because of what happened last time, is her version of panicking. She doesn't get super panicked, but she sounds as panicked as you ever heard her. This will be the end of all. You have to stop it.
Okay. Success is our only option, and I'm very confident about all this. Thank you.
Yeah, you get another one of those like confidence boosts. It's like a wave of feelings that you're like, okay, I feel great now, even though it's horrifying in your head.
So, Zeke, Rooster, your plan is to destroy the baleful core? How exactly do you close NARM? And have you considered what the immediate and long-term consequences of doing that would be, given the sort of cross-dimensional nature of NARM? Because I don't know, It's a little difficult to know, I imagine, but maybe you've had more time to consider it than me. I haven't been thinking about destroying the. That is your plan, correct? Destroying the baleful core?
I mean, in a word, yes. Like the answer to all of that is basically yes. Have we thought about it? Yes. And by we, I mean, has Rooster thought about it? Definitely yes. For at least a few decades now, right?
Yeah, Rooster is nodding in the sense that there's like now waveforms of like rust permeating the air, and you're all sort of choking on it a little as you realize that passively, the nanites that make up her body, which are from the Duke of the Red Pyramid, who escaped into higher dimensions to avoid assassination 5,000 years ago when his coup failed and ended in civil war and the destruction of human hegemony over the galaxies, that the self-replicating body of this monstrous, essentially rich bastard have taken over her and are now going to slowly begin transforming the Godown as well. And she is now sketching out for you how the physics of this all works and the way that she's starting with like a 101 like TED talk or like crash course explainer on stiffworks, and then how to like just add a minus sign here. While that's happening, you see on another monitor nearby that was not always here but has been set up on the midtime in the meantime by a void elf comrade of yours. It is showing you Massbreaker. It is showing you the distant Late Tephnian frigate that is going to fire at the Duke of the Red Pyramid. And you both these things are happening at once, and whether you're paying attention to one or the other, you're getting kind of two different versions of the same lecture explaining different aspects of the same thing, which is how to sort of cheat time and space. And it is somewhat terrifying because Rooster is saying that the other thing that's being said just cannot work. It will not stop because of the nature of what she calls asymptotic safety or fractal quantum gravity. That there's scales, there's recursive scales. So as you go lower and lower, the power of gravity goes from weak to strong. And there's a point at which the scale flips and it becomes weak again, and physics is as it should be at the Planck scale. And that the late Tephnian nanites were, in the end, able to manipulate time and space, not just to create pinch points, stiffworks, gates between places, but to create immeasurably powerful weapons, and also to use the energies that are released by sort of random chaos at these different scales to just keep building more of themselves. And that this is essentially a scenario where even if you could stop a person somewhere lost in that foam of chaos, you cannot stop the chaos itself. It is rewriting what physics is up and through the Hellstraw. It is only contained seemingly by the spindle stone of the Hellstraw. And if it escapes out of the top of the straw, if it escapes into the baleful core, into Spindle through that gate, all will be lost. And she is 100% sure that this shot is not going to work. Meanwhile, you're seeing on the monitor how the shot is about to be taken. And all the energies that this Tephnian frigate is probably 1 kilometer long, half a kilometer wide at its widest. And so imagine it's shaped like a bunch of crabs hanging out in the shape of a gun in a sort of David Cronenberg fashion, but at the scale of like a city block, like a skyscraper. And almost all of it are these chambers that are taking the 0-point energy from different scales using clouds of nanomachines, these mothers, and they're manipulating in such a way where they're focusing it all. They're going to release this kind of ripple throughout time and space in just a pinpoint to kill the Red Duke. And they have been waiting to do this for 5,000 years. They've been taking the aim. They've been sniping for 5,000 years, and they are ready to act. And Rooster is describing in detail why it's not going to work. So if anyone has any reactions to that, feel free. Those things happen kind of regardless. They're just passive background facts.
I mean, you can see the maths. Honestly, we should have done this like a while ago. That's what I wanted to do, but it didn't turn out that way, and so now we got to deal with this. I mean, great, fine, yeah. I mean, everybody clear on that? So yeah, this isn't going to work, probably.
Now, he looks at Rooster's scintillating, rust-shedding, almost, I assume, like vaporizing form, covered in like the red nanite mist. And he's like, you might be picking up what I'm putting down here, but Rooster, how would you say you feel about memes? need, like, are you feeling I don't know, like, do you feel you are fully do you feel influenced by the nanites which are currently issuing from you? I'm cutting straight to the point. I decided not to cut around. I decided not to beat around the bush.
She explains that she's spent all of her personal energy for like 60 years now combating the influence, like trying to cure herself, and she is incurable. But the issue is not so much losing her mind as being trapped in her body. The way that the nanites that have parasitized her body do not want anything; they just kind of keep making more of themselves and are just making her into sort of architecture.
Well, that sounds terrible. But another question. I think the phrase "time gun" was mentioned at one point, and he looks at Zeke, who said, "I think this just offhandedly as a joke," or and he's like, "Now, does the flow of time, like, you say it's not going to work because it's not going to be able to hit him across, or it's not going to be able to take out enough of the mass, but they also these Tephnians, they make these pinch points in time, and does that only flow in one direction? In this case, I mean, like in this, but I know how physics work a little bit.
Yeah, like if we've been able to, I don't know, deploy the kind of this whole thing a little bit earlier, maybe further up into NARM, where some of the time-space continuum sort of flexes in a slightly like different way, then maybe that could have been something. But like now that we're all the way down here, we kind of got to play by the rules of threespace one time, unfortunately. And I think we might have sort of missed our opportunity there to do something a little bit different. So, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe it'll help, I guess. I guess we're going to find out.
Can you miss opportunities like that? Because it's going to get there when it gets there relative to us. But at that point, in the places where one time is not maybe... If it's going towards a place where one time is not necessarily the sort of, given
the
reality.
Now for everyone isn't the now for everything. Yeah, but the problem is that the now for us and the now for him and the now for Massbreaker and the now for it's all the same now is the problem.
But it was there at one point, and if you hit it there, can you hit it there when it was there? And then
but
what happens
we didn't.
to the
So because of that, we're now
thing.
Constrained. But and I think at this point,
we're just talking over each other.
Rooster, I think probably begins to just create a red sort of ceramic metal like seal over Richella, because there's no in terms of causality, as far as they can figure out, there's not a good way to. If you go backward, you're just going back to a point that then will cause the same things. There's loops, but there's no changing it in a sense. So she does not have a plan for time travel. The Massbreaker plan is just to kill a guy, and she's saying she believes it will have some effect, but it will not stop at this point, sort of almost like a gray goo, but the red goo from continuing to travel through the Hellstraw, and that you would need to enact a more dire plan. And while she's saying all this, the others, Idno's entangled, screen from the Void Elves showing what's happening on Massbreaker, many, many millions of kilometers away down the Hellstraw, is showing that it is charging up to fire. So could we do a kind of, I think the right way to describe it is the Super Bowl party moment where everyone's gathering around for the big final sports thing that's going to happen, where the team will either win or not win the sports event. So however you would normally do that as a void miner, you're looking at a little screen, and I'd like to know what's going through everyone's head, basically.
So just to set the scene, literally and figuratively, Hal is going to project some little streamers and banners that say "Good luck here, Kazul. Come on, Team Massbreaker," and lots of sort of quite trite things, and also projects a sort of fast-talking, almost kind of a movie producer type avatar character who's like, come on guys, we've got to get the team going, come on everybody, and look, if this team doesn't work, we've got our own plan, we've got to shut this down, we can do it, come on guys. And that's how.
Chella,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
she's just like touching the like banners and says, "What is all of this?" Just kind of like confused. I don't think she's ever seen this form of decoration before. This cultural, like, Hal is pulled from some cultural memory that is not like it's completely foreign. He's just like, I don't get it, but I guess sure. Go team.
Mike is sitting in front of the monitor, just sort of fingers crossed, like, oh, come on. You can pull the shot off. Just one shot is all you need. And just sort of looking over at Rooster like, oh boy. I really wish you didn't tell us it wouldn't work, because it's making it a lot harder to stay positive. Oh.
Cecil is saved a little bit from the stress and anxiety by the increasing discomfort of Hell's being very hot and more slimy by the minute. So for now, he's weirdly grateful for it.
Yeah, Falling Breach Gainer has complete confidence that Massbreaker will just kill the Red Duke and is just gonna have to plan for what happens afterwards in regards to everything that's happened so far.
Alex, praise to Exalted Nestweaver. Dear Auntie Zalti, we are going to succeed, and I am so sorry for doubting you. And obviously, the big guns always do their thing, and I have even prepared a little sentence if it works. I'm here to shoot some guys, and I got some goo juice, and I got my goo juice. I hope it's good. Please be with me, Auntie Salty.
And you hear a response. I am with you. It has to work. And that second part goes out to both you and Falling Brooch Gainer. It has to work. If it doesn't, you need to stop everyone. And then you feel that nice boost of confidence. It'll work. Meanwhile, Idno, the Void Elf, has been kind of talking over / with Rooster about a lot of the same things, explaining how it's not going to work, but the tone is really different. He's like, we're going to fuck him up, but then, it's going to just be, we're going to have to deal with it. And look at all these, he's like passing out bowls of like algae, discussing like algae gloops like it's popcorn. And he's like sitting on the projector that he's created and like pointing down to like, let's watch the gun. And he's very excited to see what chaos happens. He's not really giving you a lot of confidence, but he's trying to like have a party with you.
Okay. Any other last thoughts before Massbreaker fires? Because these are all sort of happening simultaneously.
I'll eat the algae goop.
Roll will to resist world as you eat random Void Elf snacks not made for Mogum bodies. And yes, refreshments. You could raid the snack closet, which Imago would normally keep under lock and key. So there's a bunch of energy-dense bars and nearly taste-having units just units of food.
That's a 3 out of 12 for my resist world.
You puke immediately. So wild Massbreaker firing, Richella, however a lichenoid person gets rid of poisons from their system. I don't know if it's like seeping out of your face or like a classical vom, but that is happening. So it's very discontinuous. It's dissonant with what you're seeing on the little screen. So the rest of you are leaning in, and Massbreaker is glowing from the inside out, and it now appears to be sort of the skeleton of a Late Tephnian ship. It is just sort of a shell, and it is full of radiation, and there's one little hard unit in the middle, the Habs of the Noble Fluencer, Irkazul, the Wild Crab, the spy in charge of this mission, the sniper, recently awoken, and Massbreaker fires. It is firing at another ship. It is firing at something human scale, maybe very large, extremely well shielded, with Serasteel meters thick and literal force fields. But it is firing at something humans made to escape a war, and humans made to travel upward in dimensionality and change their frame of reference. So they are essentially infinitely small and experience time differently, all these things. Although, again, because of recursion, they are back at a scale that they find normal. They are in the Escher-esque, they are in their own physics, and for 5,000 years, whoever was with the Red Duke, whatever was with the Red Duke, all the machinery, the ship itself, they have all become one thing. And that one thing has become many, many, many trillions of things. And the foam that has now come outward, surging forth from the Escher-esque, summoned by the various signals of the wraiths that you all over the last year have interacted with, some time loops you've closed, some pokings around you've done, including with Massbreaker itself, which knitted itself back together as this threat arose. The Red Duke is coming forward and surging toward this beam of essentially a ripple in gravity and space-time that is meant to rip apart anything that it touches, anything vaguely the scale of what a human civilization could make. A big ship, sure. Even an artificial planet. However, as the main bulk of the Red Duke, which you can't see optically, and Massbreaker is not bothering to image well for you. Idno, however, has probably helpfully drawn, but Idno's drawing is more like a Merkborg heavy metal, like the magazine from the 70s version. So it's like Merbius, the French-Belgian graphic artist, not actually reality. So you're seeing that like etch-a-sketched on top of the optical data, which is just like a flash of infinite brightness that just whites out your ability to see in the little monitor. That thing is destroyed. But all around it, the foam of chaos, the ripples in the very fabric of the universe by all of these nanomachines programmed to make more of themselves and to keep going, to keep making war machines, a war machine that is the Red Pyramid, a fused consciousness and body that is an ultimate weapon, essentially, that means to terrorize the rest of space and time to get revenge for its failures a long time ago to take over a little planet called Terra. That thing is still moving at relativistic speeds up the Hellstraw. And the picture eventually does resolve in a moment. That light fades as different kinds of radiation are washing away from the impact point at various speeds. But something is still moving very fast, and it catches up, in fact, to Massbreaker. And the last thing you see on Idno's little screen is Massbreaker just being peeled apart like a guava or other tropical fruit. I was going to say mangosteen, dragon fruit. You get the idea. And inside all of that energy that was just released, all of the mothers of nanites, they variously implode or explode, and you are left in a sort of sea of gray and red, what looks on the distant void elf little satellite, little drone, like goo floating in space, just a streak of goo a couple kilometers long, as more and more red foam approaches, and eventually that drone too, Idno's little drone, is eaten. The Duke of the Red Pyramid has arrived from the Beyond Ring into the Red Ring, into relatively near NARM, and is surging forward at the speed of light. At this, we're going to take a very brief break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to turn it over to you all, and we're going to shut up, and you guys are going to tell us what the Void Miners choose to do about the situation. So we'll be back. It is 3:17 Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Long enough? Grab a coffee? Cool. Thanks everyone for listening. Players, GMs, please come back in 5 minutes and we will resume. Players, you guys are going to drive the story from here. We've got a game and a half. And if you're enjoying the stream, if you're enjoying Stillfleet, you can check out more at stillfleet.com or at Stillfleet on social media. And we have plenty of videos, including previous NARM content that will provide tons of context and explain everything very easily with no mysteries left unresolved. If you watch it, but it's very good. It's very funny. There's a couple weird Exquisite Corpse episodes. It's really rad. So you can check all that out on our YouTube channel at Stillfleet. I'm gonna go grab a coffee myself. I'll be back in 5. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back momentarily. Okay, I'm gonna resume vamping before everyone has a chance to settle back in. Hey, what's up, Harry? What's up, Laura? Thanks again for joining today. What's up, Ray? And we really appreciate all your efforts. If you haven't heard some of the news, hey, what's up, Jennifer? Stillfleet, the game, is being explored right now in a unique campaign setting by Bria Eingar on Worlds Beyond Number. And in the past, we've been lucky enough to be featured on Fun City Ventures as well, and D&D at Dramaturgs by my friend Ben Ferber. All great podcasts, and they all do really weird, fun stuff. This game's great, and this whole series this is our third group of little streams about NARM, because this is so driven by our players and our GMs. So thank you again to all our fantastic community members who've been playing and writing and coming up with fun ideas. And if you like the stream or the VOD, because hey, it's a nice Sunday afternoon here in the eastern seaboard of the United States. It's the first real springy weekend, so understandably, if you don't want to sit in front of your computer, maybe you watch this later. That's cool too. Join us on the Discord, let us know, comment. We'll try to put together more streams if folks like that. And we always appreciate any feedback as we move to develop Stillfleet 2. So we're developing more rules, refining rules, and just thinking through, what the game could be. Hey, Jesse. So feel free to hop on the Discord and tell us what you think. Any reflections so far before we dive back in? Anyone want to say anything in character or as a real human person? Hey, Hans. Okay, well, then we are just waiting for a couple more folks, and we will resume. And yeah, I think, let's see, whenever Bean is ready, the fellowship is met. Oh, cool sunglasses on. NPC inhabited. All right, I think we maybe want to just get rocking, and we'll give Bean a second to catch up. Irkazul, the noble fluencer whom you recently met, was reawoken, fired the ship Massbreaker at the Duke of the Red Pyramid as long planned. Duke of the Red Pyramid being essentially, unable to dodge because of their size and the narrowness, although the width of Luna is pretty wide, but by cosmic scales, not that wide, was struck and destroyed. But the body, the foamy body of nanites of the Red Pyramid, unified into a war machine, into a dimension of machine making, has continued to move up the Hellstraw. You all are together. Idno, Rooster believed this would fail and are now just as disappointed in their own different alien ways, basically, as they expected to be. The other NPCs have all pretty much left. So, voidminers, what do you want to do?
Okay, so I think Hal, as soon as the explosion is seen on screen, the banners disappear and a sort of a big war board appears, projected, and sort of the avatar comes back and says, all right, we knew that wasn't going to work. It was a 1% chance of working, so it's all okay. We're still on track. We can still do this. Come on. And I want to come back to you, Rooster. Come on, you're beautiful. You can do this. We've got to go for your plan, and we know it's going to work. Look, we can't stop the spread. I'd like to explain to everyone. And at this point, Cecil, your wrist is sort of heating up to unbearable levels, and goop is sort of dripping down your arm.
Yeah, Hal, I'm going to interrupt you. Sorry, and I just put you down on the table for a moment, and I have something here, and out of my backpack, I pick up this small robot, which I stole from a ship a while ago, and Cecil has been working on it in between ventures, because at first it was just blaring advertisements trying to make everyone join the meta mesh, and at least that, it's still going on, but it's muted, and I haven't used it, but it will just follow us, and maybe I can put you on this thing, and you can walk with us and I'll just put you around, I guess, the neck of the thing. And I don't know what would happen here, whether you could get control of it or just, but sorry, it was just getting very, your excitement was palpable.
No problem at all. Completely understand. Let's worry about the details later. Details. That's low priority. We've got to take this out. And yeah, I think as you'll see on this demonstration, and then the avatar gestures to another projection of sort of just a red mist expanding, filling NARM and kind of pouring through stiffworks and sort of enveloping the known universe. And Hal is like, this is what will happen if we don't do Rooster's plan. Come on, Rooster, you're beautiful. What do you got for us? And spotlight projects onto Rooster.
Rooster, I think, speaks out of her actual mouth voice, and you hear her just kind of croak that Zeke has the details, and there are a couple of there's basically 2 primed Hichi, so extremely far future bug tech computers, comms, that have been programmed. They look like shiny crushed cubes, I think, we established. And they sort of Electrum D6s that have been squashed, and they have the ability, if correctly placed, one of them should be able to permanently detack a stiffworks. They've been set up. She can explain the physics. Again, she sort of already did. She seems tired just thinking about it. But she basically defers to Zeke to physically help you do this.
Yeah, so we've got the basic idea, like we've got the sort of the main bit, but unfortunately this like all this stuff was set up assuming that like the kind of physics work the way that it should and the universe was sort of the way that it should have been, and that's kind of all got fucked up now because of, you know, all this shit that's happening. So we've got a little bit of work to do to make these actually kind of work out the way that we want. But just give us a little, I mean, like, we can do this. I mean, hopefully. I mean, again, either we sort it out and we get the veil ready to go, or we're all dead and it's not going to matter. And you know, so we win it either way. Is basically how I'm thinking of it. So yeah, that's the plan. So just really quick, just so in case anybody's not clear, just very briefly, what that means is we're gonna have to deliver, like, make a few kind of technological adjustments to the veil and make sure that it, you know, works with the current way that physics is unfolding around us. And then we're gonna have to, you know, I'm not really clear. We'll figure it out depending on how the exact configuration of the you know, kind of physical manifold layering of the hyperdimensional probabilities actually works out once we've been able to kind of restructure the differentials. But in any case, what we're probably going to have to do is deliver it to the Baleful Core, which, you know, is fine. And then that's just going to shut down all stiffworks travel and space-time dimensional folding in and out of NARM forever. So we are going to be stuck here for eternity. So with, you know, all of this. But you guys were fine with that anyway, because that's what you signed up for. So don't, I mean, it's a bit too late to worry about it. That's basically what's going on. So we're just going to get to work on that. If anyone wants to help, feel free to jump in. But yeah, that's the plan. Any questions?
As long as I don't have to lead, I'm game.
All right, you got it. Anyone else?
Well, what? So that's the plan, to stop the exit from NARM of the red radioactive mist that would
you're right.
try to, the goo, we've been referring to it, I think, as to keep that goo from getting out of NARM and into the rest of space, like Spindle.
Yeah, from Spindle, like if it gets back to Spindle, then it basically has access to every stiffworks that exists, and, you know, every point in the universe that there is a stiffworks, or could
everywhere
be a stiffworks
that's not contained by the black stone of NARM.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you got it.
So that part I understand. I think.
Right.
Maybe the exact mechanics.
Listen, don't worry about it. It's taken me it's taken me ages to figure it out, and I'm very clever.
Yeah. Now, after that, however, there is still the sort of like you talk about being stuck here for an eternity, and that
Yeah.
does raise the question: did you have a plan to not be destroyed?
Oh no.
Okay, so it was kind of just like an eternity or like a moment.
Yeah, by eternity I mean like a point of time that just like
Yeah.
as long as we continue to exist, we'll continue to exist here, and then whenever that ends, which is probably
For the
quite
rest
soon.
of our short lives.
Yeah,
Understood.
exactly. But I mean,
Yeah.
the Red Duke will probably continue to exist. I mean, probably for eternity. I don't know, but he can just fuck around here, I guess. I mean, sucks here, so let him have it. Sorry, Ray, did you want to say
Yeah.
something?
FBG Falling Breach Gainer just speaks up from I'm a Banshee. We're fellow Banshees. I'd love to help you deal with this closing of the Stiffworks.
Yeah, great. Fantastic.
Sorry, Falling Brooch Gainer, if as soon as you say that, you hear the voice of Exalted Nest Weaver saying, "No, this cannot happen. This is a threat." And you feel like you feel the truth of that very strongly.
In your head, or in Falling Breach Gainer's head, they're just like I'm lying, so I can be in position when the moment to strike is apparent.
Very good. If I could wink at you, I would wink.
All right.
Zeke accepts help gladly with no reservations. Let's just talk around. Like at this point, the sort of the Godown is open to you. You are the only ones here, and Zeke and Rooster, and for the moment, Falling Breach Gainer as well, are kind of setting aside some space and some time. Maybe I should take these off to get to work on kind of modifying these kind of these two cubes that they already have, that they had kind of already prepared in order to turn them into something that can work sort of with the levels of radiation and the things that they now know about the Red Duke, to make sure that they actually function as designed when they are activated. So they're spending some time to do that. During the time that they are doing that, you can do essentially whatever you like. And I'd like to ask each of you what it is that you are doing during this time. You are welcome to participate in that. You are welcome to do something else. You are welcome to sit in a corner and cry if you would like to, which would be a completely reasonable response to the particular scenario that you find yourselves in. So I'll kind of just go around and ask each person what they're doing. But if you want to jump in or invite someone else to do something with you, please do go ahead. So let's start with Cecil. What is Cecil up to while these kind of and I'll just describe briefly. I think sort of Rooster and Zeke, and at the moment Falling Breach Gainer as well, have kind of taken over sort of probably Imago's lab, which most of the stuff there has been packed away, but some of the kind of mechanical apparatus and various bits and bobs that she didn't think was important enough to take with her are still there. And I think they're sort of lugging in pieces from some of the like Banshee stations previously to kind of have as much on hand as they need to in order to construct or do the work they're going to do. It seems like they're not entirely clear on exactly what it is they're going to have to do in order to make this, but there's kind of this air of like, we are just going to sort it out, and we're confident that we can kind of figure it out as we go. Akil, Jesse, if you have any input on that, but I think she probably hasn't said anything at this point and is just staying by Rooster's side wherever she goes, unless you have anything that you want to add to that.
Yeah, unless anybody comes close, she's in protector mode.
Perfect. So they've kind of co-opted this space, but sort of left the doors open for anyone who wants to contribute or participate. But you can certainly choose to be doing something else or having other conversations. So Cecil, what is Cecil up to, first of all, in this time?
First, pacing back and forth, because it's a lot, and I want to be doing something, but what? And nothing seems to help. So he's going to try to see if Amago has left any of her lab rats behind, because that would be a nice snack.
Why? Has Amago left any of her strange experiments behind?
Yeah, if you spend 10 minutes looking around, I think you find 3. They are random numbers and letters. They're random alphanumerics.
Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, eating one of these things, Cecil has to do it every day since he's been infected by the blood, but he knows it's not that appetizing for most people, so he just eats one of them right there away from people. And I mean, the coffee droid's no longer in his backpack, so he puts the other 2 in there, and then sort of rejoins the rest, just sits down and starts knitting a bit. And if you want to know where those knitting needles come from, there's a whole other stream from about it, 6 hours long.
It involved an unexpected number of grandmas, honestly. All right, brilliant. Mike, what is Mike up to during this time?
I guess Mike would be seeing if there's any terminals with archive access, just trying to... He's trying to think about, I don't know, this is a foam of only nanites. Maybe there's a way to seed some order into this chaos, give it something to latch onto and grow into.
Okay, do you want to make a reason check about that to see what you can come up with?
Yes.
I think probably, Wythe, unless you have another opinion, Amago's probably just taken off all of the archival passwords and just whatever you need in order to sort things out, you can just have it, unless you think that she's put something in place.
No, I think that makes sense. There aren't secret weapons here. It's an observation station, and you were the weapons, you the void miners. So I think you have access to the data she had access to, and there's nothing really that interesting beyond her experiments. Maybe you could roll if you think there is. Maybe it'll be true, but for now, yeah, you have access to the ship's data or the station's data rather.
All right. Well, I've got an 8 on that roll.
Do you want to say more about what you're looking for specifically and how you want to help?
Mike is curious about whether or not there's any interactions between this massive foam of nanites and hyperobjects, just considering NARM, the stone of NARM, seems to have a way that repels this. And other ways he can try, he's trying to think of ways to make this survivable, where even if they shut off one end and keep things, keep the mist contained, whether or not there's a way to make a pocket of order for them to hole up in.
Right. Yeah, great point. I think there is a lot of research on spindlestone and how spindle and NARM, which seemingly were made by the same civilization, presumably the Hichi, these future, perhaps insectoid beings, the archivists have at least imagined, they are somehow knitted up and down scales. So, say they take advantage of the fractal quantum gravity and perfect scalar asymptotic symmetry. They are not just walls at the level that we experience, humans, stars, bacteria. They're also walls all the way down to Planck length. So they are able to contain whatever those nanomachines are doing and also repel them. The nanomachines are not able to kind of manipulate the matter energy of the spindlestone. So they're not able to steal matter from it and make more nanomachines. So it is effectively a wall, in a hard, video game sense. You run out of world for this nanite plague. If you could make more of that, that would be cool. The archive spent a lot of time and has no idea. The archive's made some weird, gross-looking concrete, and there's 7,000 PowerPoint slides worth of pictures of gross-looking concrete that doesn't work like spindlestone. But they don't know how to replicate this. In terms of making a safe pocket, it does seem like, to this point, the main question is, are you, that you will not die instantly if you are able to survive the initial onslaught of lots and lots of changes happening at a very fine scale rushing past you. So if there's just a bubble that repels little tiny machines, then you'll be fine. So there's various ways you could make that. And you think that, maybe I'll give you some sort of advantage on the next check, since you've done some research here, if that's fair for the other GMs. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of up to you what energy source you want to use, how big do you want that bubble to be. But that would then leave you in a world where the spindlestone is covered in this kind of tube. The inside of the straw has got gunk left in it, and that gunk is dangerous. It is essentially the body of a dead god, in D&D sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you would survive at that initial onslaught, yes.
Okay. How can we get out of here alive? Oh, this is not looking promising, people.
Yes, I've had the same thought. And maybe, like, Rochella's just sitting nearby. And it's like, what would even happen if we got eaten by this goo anyway? Would it just kind of, would everything we are be subsumed by it? Or, I don't know. Strange. This wasn't my turn. I'm just in the room.
Good point. I mean, Rooster, what's it like to be made permanent?
Well, Rooster points out in writing on whatever screen is nearest to you that she's just passively hacked, that it would just shut down eventually your body and you would die. So you won't know that eventually you'll just become more of the body of this imagined version of the world. You can sort of maybe see at this point if there are somehow any drones that have lived. Maybe this is just a total third camera omniscient cut. But deeper into NARM, as the Red Duke is coming through the Red Ring, that after the initial impact, what's left beyond it is this wayscape of what looks like a cities of meat and rust. And that you would become part of this ill-defined version of Tephnian hegemony that is sort of interpreted by the body of the Duke's ships and servants and self, and is now just sort of more expressionistic than it is, a human environment for people to live in and inhabit the galaxy. But yeah, you would be dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Mike will be continuing to ponder over this. He's just taking a look at his impossible objects that he has with him, trying to rattle his brain for, is there any way to use this impossibility against the wave?
Okay, so while Cecil is doing a little bit of sort of meditation via knitting, and Mike is doing some research, Hal and Rochella, what are you two up to?
So Hal on the coffee droid is sort of interfacing with the droid, which appears to have some sort of basic, seemingly sentient programming, based on what I read. So Hal is sort of interfacing with the coffee droid and is like, and you can see sort of a please wait sign sort of projected above the coffee droid, and it sort of hums for a bit, and the kind of hot algae is oozing out of Hal's watch housing, and sort of it's unclear how exactly it's percolating through the machine, or if that works, or if it's going to gunk up the electrics. But you hear a little ding, and Hal sort of projects a coffee stall owner saying, "Hey, everybody, coffee is served. Get your hot algae here, hot algae. Everyone, this will really perk you up. Come on, we need to lift the spirits. We've got to get this done. And yes, of course, we're all going to die. That was the deal at the beginning. Don't be silly. Come on now. Get your coffee here. Rochella, here, have a warm cup of joe. A hot cup of joe."
Sorry, the default unmute button is the exact same as the bookmark button. I hate that in this browser. But anyway, hot. Would that have rendered it biologically inert? I feel like that would defeat the. Oh yeah, whatever. And he just he downs the swill. Was this the feed action?
So mechanically, we're looking at a Thinky Boost as a stimulant. I can't remember if it can take you above grit max. Let me just.
Yeah.
Yes, it can. Yes, it takes you past your grit max. So please roll. How many doses, Wythe, can we say this cup of hot algae is?
Oh, why don't we say 2 per cup of hot algae if you've laced it with a lot of neuropharmaceuticals? I mean, it's really up to you how much you're drugging people, but I think beyond that might get just objectively dangerous. So
it's the end of the world. So let's say 2d4, roll 2d4, and that's how much grit you get above your grit max. And it's gritty algae also. The coffee, it tastes gritty and chunky. And it's hot.
It tastes capital G, capital R, capital T.
So besides Rochella, is anybody else having a delicious cup of hot algae? Mike or Cecil?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike will have a hot. Oh, go ahead.
I just hear coffee and I get in line.
Likewise, Mike goes for a hot cup of Al.
Perfect. So as this is happening, I think Falling Bridge Gainer is working with Zeke and with Rooster, and I think Akil probably sort of observing carefully, but kind of helping where and when she can. But you're kind of deep into this like very technical higher mathematics chat about what's going on with the like how to adapt and like making use of kind of some of the readings that are maybe they're getting from Consort or from Imago's tablet, and kind of using those different pieces of input to try and figure out like what's the optimal configuration now given the spikes that we've seen in the type of radiation that we're dealing with, and kind of trying to balance all of those different influences to kind of give this like the best chance of taking hold. And while that's happening, I think, Alex, the last thing that you remember for a little while is handing a note written on a card to Zeke. Like, I think you walk into the room, maybe slide them that note, and then you have this strange sense that time is sort of passing in a way that you wouldn't expect. Like you kind of blink and you're somewhere else, as if you've been moving, but you don't remember moving there. Sort of like when you're driving a familiar route and you kind of wake up back to yourself and you're further along that you don't really remember traversing the route. And you're in a different part of the Godown. It's very quiet here because everybody else is having hot algae and, talking and working in a different portion. And you blink again and you're in another different room, and you're in a storage cupboard. I think this might be like one of the many, like Tuong had her lab in one of these sort of like modules that kind of had been previously used as a place to store things. Now it's all in disarray, like boxes are open and half of it is gone as the kind of emergency of the evacuation had taken over, and all sense of like organization and that sort of thing is taken away. And I think you blink again, and you're closer now to kind of the noise and the light of the work that's kind of ongoing in Imago's lab. You're holding something in your hands. What would Alex pick as a weapon that they would feel most comfortable with, or they would feel would be the most effective?
Out of all the oddities that I could have found, I think I grasped a what's the name? Probably a nunchaku type of thing. It's cool looking, like it has flames on the handles and all. It seems to be extending quite a lot, but it is more of a souvenir type of thing than an actual weapon that would have proper use, at least from what we can see from the weapon. It looks suitable for a movie probably shot in Hong Kong or something. So that's close to what Alex likes.
And what is Alex's sort of previous experience of using weapons like this?
In his room, he has a lot of experience using that kind of weapons. Obviously, he has been trained to use knives. So nothing like this. Obviously, Alex picked once again a very, very poor choice of a weapon, but he's very confident that he can at least throw a few good moves with it. If it had been a gun, it would have been awesome, but
I think you feel some heaviness on your back. You realize that you are very well armed at the moment. And you don't need to look back to see that you have a few options available to you, but you look down and see this weapon in your hands. I think as you look up again, you find yourself standing at like the doorway portal between sort of the part of the quiet and abandoned part of the Godown that you are currently in, and the kind of and Amago's lab. There's a few kind of open doorways to it at this point, and you're standing there in the doorway, and you hear the voice of Exalted Nestweaver in your head.
You have to stop them now. Does Alex see the people working with Rooster?
Yeah, so I think that they are all like, you can look into the room and you can see kind of Rooster, the like part throne, part person, like somebody who has almost melted into this sort of piece of furniture, which seems like a strange way to talk about a person, but almost like unable to move, but still participating or trying to input and giving advice. And Akil standing sort of behind her, like it's impossible to tell if Akil is keeping an eye out because Akil doesn't have eyes and you can't tell where she's looking, but you get the sense of like watchfulness. Zeke seems to be having the time of her life. She just seems to be enjoying every moment of this. This is absolutely in her element. And you can see that she has in her hand the note that you gave her. And she hasn't even looked at it yet because she's so excited about all of the like the science that's going on and working with Rooster and working with Falling Brute Gainer, who we'll come back to in just a second, but like kind of also trying to input on this process. And you see her kind of like gesticulating with her hands, and she notices that she's still holding this card that she hasn't seen, and you see her look down and read the message on the card that you've given her. And at that moment, she sort of, you kind of see her pause and like let the rest of the let the others kind of carry on. They don't even notice that she's kind of stepped back a little bit as she kind of frowns at this message that you've written down, and you see her kind of start to look around, which is what you see as you're standing in the doorway here.
And then Alex, you feel again that like weight being lifted off of you a little bit, and a new bravery, and these nunchakus that you are not that good with. Suddenly you feel you're a lot better with them, and you attack everyone who's working around Rooster, including Rooster.
No, yes, I mean,
Laura, tell us what it looks like as Alex is filled with this, like, and both alien and very familiar and personal kind of rage and focus to step into the room and do something. What does Alex do to fulfill this sort of impulse?
First, I sing a little theme song, like this is really good with the wet mandibles. The sounds are amazing. But I enter the room with my theme song, like probably like a wrestler would do, really. And I have my nunchucks, and I just wave them around because I'm like this big wetting guy for once in my life, and I'm going to show them all, even if they're my friend. They're not my friends, so I just like do my things. Like what I would do when I'm alone in my room and no one's watching. But this time I did so super well. And I guess my nunchuck just kind of connects with whoever is standing closer to me.
Sorry. Are you aiming or are you just hitting whoever is closest?
Oh, definitely not aiming. Aims are for people who are not really trusting their abilities, and I'm a weapon for God's sake. So I'm just the best. Yeah.
Okay.
No aiming. Pure instinct.
Great. I want you to roll a d6 for me. We're going to see who you go for.
I rolled a 6.
A 6 is Rooster. So, it was 1 to 2 Akil, 3 to 4 Zeke, and 5 to 6 Rooster. So you strike a Rooster. As that's happening, Falling Brooch Gainer, this is your moment. If you were waiting for a moment to strike, this is it. What are you doing?
Well, we got to put Keelf to sleep, obviously. So we're gonna attempt to do that. We have somnolent Saharp legs as a weapon, so we just burn 4x crit and roll charisma. And Keelf, if they are not hostile to me, will roll will, and that'll put him in a trance if I succeed.
Sorry, just finding Akil's sheet.
I'm gonna boost my roll by 9, spending 9 grit to do so as well.
In this moment, while everyone's figuring out their numbers and actions, I think Rochelle is just like kneeling off in a corner, like gently, like touching and like examining a smooth metal box, eyes closed, just not paying attention to any of it. He's probably got his like gun set across from him, like kind of like in this weird, like kind of contemplatory stance. he's just meditating while everyone else is getting ready to come to blows.
Yeah, so Falling Brooch Gainer's 16 definitely beats my 5 for Akil.
Falling Bridge Gainer, do you want to describe what this looks like?
Yes,
Or sounds like, I suppose.
Myself. Yeah. There's a moment where they're just swept up in the engineering problem, and they actually just start helping, and then they realize that they came here with sabotage in mind. They see this big bodyguard shoot and it's just a quiet shaking of the legs as they're constantly moving that lets out this quite resonant sound as it echoes and targets the Shutha's ears to hopefully lull them into a quiet slumber.
Yeah, and Akil crumples. She's been like totally taken by surprise. And as this happens, you also feel like you hear and feel Exalted Nestweaver her approval. And Falling Brooch Gainer has been kind of like hoping to work with her a little bit more, right? And you feel like she's given you a little bit more power to make this happen.
And with that, let's all roll initiative. So as a reminder, initiative is just a movement roll. I guess I'll roll for Zeke. And if you wouldn't mind, yes, thank you very much putting that in the chat. Lovely. If So Jesse, if you roll for a Keelb anyway, and Wythe, if you want to roll for Rooster, if you think that she can kind of respond in that way.
Yep. I can also help kind of time keep here as we enter initiative. So we're zooming in on something very odd happening, which is in the middle of planning. Just to recap what you're going to do about potentially sort of the end of everything. Two of you have started to attack the person who has the plan because it will trap you here and prevent you from ever leaving NARM. So it looks like Cecil's going to act first.
Mm-hmm. We didn't resolve the nunchuck attack from Alex, however. So do you want to roll to attack for that? And how much, Jesse, how do you think ENW might help with this or push it a little bit?
So Alex actually is now good with them, for one thing. And they are going to do like double damage and than they would have otherwise, because she has this force behind her that it's pushing him to really make these blows on anyone they hit, which is, I think, 3 targets.
So do you want to roll, I believe we said 2d4 damage for that?
So I rolled a 3 and I rolled a 4.
Okay, fantastic.
So yeah.
So, Wythe, do you want to, or Alex, how does this impact Rooster?
Well, the attack was against Rooster herself, right?
Mhm.
She's very sick, and so yeah, that it does. I mean, 7 damage does hurt her. She's still alive, but she's clearly taken off guard and is not sure why the fuck fellow void miners are attacking her. But she can't move much anyway, so I think this is all happening second by second. So even though that was an ambush, it seems like microseconds later. Yeah, Cecil's gonna act, and I like what David wrote, can crumpling noise. So yeah, it just sounds like someone just battering a wall of Coke cans, right?
Okay, so with that noise, you kind of, I think there's a keel sort of in that moment crumpling to the ground as well. I think Zeke like jumps to her feet to like as Alex walks in, kind of channeling this other version of himself with the nunchucks. Cecil, you're up first. How do you respond?
So, yeah, Cecil was knitting in a corner, but also vibrating from the algae coffee. So, probably because of that, he jumps up faster than you might think possible. And yeah, just takes one of his rifles and tries to hit Alex with it to daze him. So I will boost my attack by 3. But I still rolled a 1. So apparently,
what happens? Go ahead.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe it is possible to have too much caffeine and to try to do too many things at the same time. And instead of jumping up and then swinging the butt of his rifle, he does both of them at the same time and just slips and falls flat on his face.
Okay. So as Cecil tries to get to his feet to intervene, maybe his reactions are a little too fast at the moment, and he's not accustomed to kind of moving at this speed and isn't able to intervene in time. Is there anything else you want to do?
I have a few free. No, try to do better next round.
Okay. Then Rooster is up next in the initiative.
Yeah, Rooster is would normally try to dive, but I think she cannot make a move check in her present state due to the advanced nature of the plague, which, if you've noticed, has gotten worse as the Duke of the Red Pyramid has approached. So as more of the bulk of the body of the Red Pyramid is in threespace as opposed to in higher dimensions and unable to act in the physics that we experience at our scale, she is more and more basically like a carbonite into a wall of Coke cans statue and a computer more than a person. So she is going to hack whatever's nearby to try to save her life here, which I would think might be Hal. I'm not sure what other informatic being is close enough to hack and make act physically. So I don't know, Harry, how you feel about rolling will to resist being hacked by Rooster, who's going to try to make you attack Alex, normal human.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think Hal would resist that.
Great. Does Hal have a weapon that can be used here?
So, according to Cecil's character sheet, the coffee droid has a D6 attack Waldo with D6 damage and a comm score of D4.
Oh, great. Then I think Rooster's burning. I guess she's going to burn her own grit. She has tons of grit to roll your D4 and add 9 grit to try to hit Alex Normal Human with the coffee roaster. She got a 3 plus 9 is a 12. Laura, is Alex trying to dodge and get a 13 or better on movement, or are you getting roasted?
I fear nothing. So I'm not going to give her any type of respite by blocking or something, dodging. Dodging is for weak people. So I'm standing here still, I think.
That's great. Well, in that case, D6, and she's going to burn a shitload of grit again. Mm-hmm. So she's trying to kill you since you hit her with nunchucks, which, while more confusing, painful, also confusing, but she assumes you were trying to attack her and are just not aware that guns exist. So she is going to try to kill you with the coffee roaster. So Hal, I don't know how you feel about a hacker basically just puppeting your body and just turning this whole barista apparatus. Maybe it also sets off all the soundboard things for the Coffee is for Closers. Shout out to Adam Good and Stations, Infinity of Ships. But you just hear a lot of drink more coffee, make more sales. Everyone should join the Meshnet. Get a discount. Meshnet's cool. Tell all your friends. I got a 2 plus 9 is 11 damage as she roasts Alex Normal Human through the body of Hal. Thanks, Harry.
And the roaster also does either bleed, burn, or stun 1. Rooster's choice.
Stun isn't really guaranteed, so I'm going to go with burn. Well, burn 1's the best because it's cumulative, so burn 1. So that's 12 damage, and next round it's 2 more, and then so on and so forth.
Feels more on brand with hot coffee as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah, so the algal coffee machine just pours boiling hot algae coffee and with scalding hot metal implements. Alex just comes towards you unexpectedly. I think next up in the initiative is Akil, who is asleep, and no one has taken any effort to wake her unless they can resist that in some way. I think that just stays as it is. Are we happy with that? And at the same initiative, I believe, is Rachella, which what you see is that Alex has walked into the room, walked across the room, and very expertly, like, struck Rooster with, I think, nunchucks that have flames on them, is what I heard. Akil has dropped to the ground, and then Hal immediately seems to have turned and, with surprising bloodthirstiness, has just unleashed some serious pain on Alex. So, what would you like to do at this moment?
You say I see that. I actually don't. Rochella's eyes are closed. He is sitting he's sitting on like a crocheted cozy off in some corner that some grandma at some point in the past in a different stream made. Sitting like, squat, sitting very still, object in hand. And the action, I never got to resolve this earlier, but it's even better if I use it in combat thematically, is Augur, which is, let's see, I have the burn 10 minus D reason, grit, minimum of 2, and 1 health, and ask an answerable short question. At the end of the round, after everyone else in the initiative has acted, the nameless thing whom you contacted replies with an answer. The answer may be vague, depending on the question, but will not be malicious, a lie, or incomplete. So, in his meditative stance, weeping algae goo from his closed eyes, sitting, kind of squat sitting. I guess I'll just burn that, or I'll roll that grit. It's an 8. Okay, so the minimum amount of grit 8. I rolled an 8 on reason. It has to be a minimum of 2. So I burned 2 grit and 1 health, and I ask the nameless thing that's been in my dreams. It's been in my dreams forever, but now it just seems even more close. It's a thing. It doesn't exist. It does exist. It's outside. It's inside. And I ask this impossible thing, and it'll answer at the end of initiative, I guess. What? I feel like I've lost the lead here. How do I find the path, get through this? I'm not done here. I need to figure out how to make everyone happy so we can survive. Mostly, I just need to not get destroyed. How do I do that? He's just thinking, deeply contemplating it. He's holding his little sleek black music box in on his lap. His guns set out in like a ceremonial fashion in front of him, because all the mole golems, I guess, from where he's from, need a gun to meditate. And that's what he's doing. He's not paying attention to any of this. This is all short-term stuff. He's thinking long-term.
When Rochella reaches out to something, what is he thinking of? Like, what does he think that he is reaching out to?
It's the thing that's been driving him. I think it's nameless. It might have been Liquid Door at some point. I don't know. And maybe it's impossible. I don't know. He picked up this box at one point. He had an impossible dream, and he's just been he's been unsatisfied. He ended up in NARM because he's been looking for answers, because he can't live not knowing what this is about. And it can't possibly be ending. So he needs to figure out what the next step is, because he hasn't got answers yet, and he won't be satisfied until he does. So maybe it's the god ship. Maybe it's the idea of the god ship. I don't know. Maybe it's NARM itself, the path.
So as Rochella is kneeling before the cube, ignoring all of the temporary light and noise around him, that it can't touch him in this meditative state. He sends that question out into the universe and tries to reach out to the faint threads of starlight that reach here to the Godown from very, very far away stars, and awaits an answer. If you're happy with that, we'll move on to Mike next.
Absolutely.
Mike would have probably been in the same room, just sort of going through the settings on the Godown, seeing, so what fields can we emit from our systems? What can we do here? Can we bubble ourselves? And right as he's going through the systems is when the clank happens. Alex, what are you doing? I feel like he would run up and let's see. Let me just check my powers very quick. I think actually he would just try tackling Alex away. So this will be a comm roll with my reason to just try tackling Alex. Doesn't want to hurt Alex, but let's see. Oh, that is only a 5. So even with project hate, even with Mike trying to think through this, he gets up and similarly trips over Achilles.
Maybe you just don't hate them enough.
Oh,
So
I could never hate you, Alex.
So if you've rolled a 5 to attack, presumably. Alex, are you
Yes.
going to dodge? You're muted, by the way.
This
Okay.
time around, I will try and dodge, because better be alive than not, even though I don't dodge that well. I rolled a okay, 11 to dodge. Well, 10 plus 1.
Okay, so Mike, you rolled a 5, right?
Yeah.
So
Mike,
what do you make of that, basically?
I will say Mike sort of saw what happened, tried to rush over, and just tunnel vision, didn't see that Akil had also collapsed, and just trips over Akil, just sort of going flying past Alex, who I imagine would just sidestep.
Okay, anything else you want to do?
I think, yeah, that's all Mike can do at the moment.
Okay. As that happens, Zeke gets to her feet. She immediately draws the Void Elf lightning pistol that she keeps at her hip. And I think she's not even thinking about it. She just points it straight at Alex's face. And she's looking at them in the eye, and she's trying to understand what's happening. She doesn't even notice really like anything else that's going on. She's just looking at Alex. What does Zeke see in this moment in Alex's face as they sort of lock eyes? Zeke's still holding in her other hand the note that Alex passed her earlier. What does she see?
Apart from the whole still feebly humming theme song that is Alex is still going on with, there is a bit of a panic in his eyes that you see, and now you're connecting with him, and you don't really see the face of it's not really Alex that you've come to work with. It's something else entirely. He looks at you, and then the note, and then you back at you, and yeah, you see a little bit of panic apart from the rest.
You see Zeke try to decide whether to pull the trigger at point blank range, like half a foot from your face. That she you've been with her in battle before. You know that she loses her temper, and you see her want to kill you for several seconds, and she catches your eye behind the sunglasses that you are also wearing, and you see her very visibly make the decision not to. And she's going to spend her turn making that choice, basically trying to decide whether or not to kill you for what she considers to be one of the worst things you ever could have done. But you see that broken trust in her face, that there's something between you that isn't there anymore, and she's not going to kill you, but you feel like that something about that connection has been lost. Falling Brooch Gainer and Alex, it's your turns. What would you like to do? And as I ask you what you would like to do, I think someone else might have an opinion about that.
Falling Brooch Gainer, what is your strongest weapon that you have right now?
I only have one weapon. It's my chitin weighten disc thrower. It does 3d3 damage.
You hear Exalted Nestweaver say insufficient, and you feel so. Falling Brooch Gainer has been hanging out in the City of Scales for a while, communicating with Exalted Nestweaver more than maybe anybody, and has been interested in these hell science things that she talks about all the time. You feel like the power that you felt earlier that she gave you is suddenly like coming into your hands, and you use the power excruciate on Rooster. I'll just read that out for. So you'll burn 8 grit and name a target. I named it for you. You mentally cause this target to experience a burst of unadulterated whole body pain that physically causes them 2d6 plus d reason damage. And I'm going to say with the strength of Exalted Nestweaver, you're going to roll that twice. Jennifer, you're muted.
So that's 46 plus reason twice. Sorry, 46 and then reason times 2.
2d6 reason times 2. Yeah. No, you got it.
All right. Whatever your reason die is, roll that twice and then roll 46 as well. And let us know what you get.
Falling Brooch Gainer rolled a 25.
25. I would like you to, if you would like, briefly describe how Falling Brooch Gainer feels as this new power rushes into them, as they reach out with it, feeling the impetus, the push of Exalted Nestweaver behind them to reach out and cause not only damage, not only injury, but also pain in someone else to exact what she thinks the world should be like, to make that the way that she is. How does Falling Brooch Gainer feel about, and how do they deliver this blow on Exalted Nestweaver's behalf?
Yeah. I mean, Falling Brooch Gainer's plan beforehand, before getting access to this power, would have been to just run away. So, Exalted Nestweaver contacts them, enters their mind, and just gives them the experience of the health sciences, and chooses Rooster as the target. So, the just all of Falling Breach's gainers like community and beliefs about just building Watana just sort of wells up within them, and that just strikes into Rooster as this extra dimensional sort of just pain of pure belief that staying here is the right move, and we need to keep the stiffworks open.
Yeah. I mean, I think these are two exactly opposite belief systems physically crashing in this moment, which is very funny if you think about it in a sort of Coen Brothers sad way, where sweet Alex Normal Human grabs nunchucks and hits Rooster as hard as she can. And then immediately a bunch of other fighting ensues. Pistols are drawn. Things are almost, people are almost killed. And then suddenly, Falling Breach Gainer feels this surge of power, and you are able to tap into the Hell Science and change quantum scale events. You're able to make reality what you want at a local way that you had not been able to before. And you basically grab every neuron left in Rooster's body and just, rip them out and leave behind the hollow, self-constructing kind of red Minecraft nether bricks, just rusted ceramic steel that is left of these late Tephnian nanites from the Red Pyramid that have bled into threespace when she first went to the Beyond Ring all those years ago, 6 decades ago, and her mortal being, her life here, which has been changed a lot over time since especially that fateful venture. It is gone. She is dead here in threespace, and she is now sort of a monument to herself, just kind of stuck. And you feel that you have momentarily at least won by stopping the person who knew the most, who'd made her whole kind of thing about detacking, permanently detuning stiffworks, and you've killed her. That said, there are plenty of other people now who have sort of access to her research and her thought process, but Falling Breach Gainer, you are extremely powerful in this moment, and you can individually feel every single nerve that was left active in her body, and which is still an enormous number, and you make them all scream at once, and she is no more. She's just minimally spasming meat encased in ceramic steel foam.
As that happens, and I think all of you hear it, it's almost like the cloud of nanites that surround her, the kind of rust red mist that permeates the Godown. You can almost feel that reverberating through the floor and the walls, and in some ways she'd already started to become a part of this space, and you can tell when it happens, no matter what you are doing. I think if any of you are on comms, you hear an echo of it across the comms as well, kind of echoing over and over and over. Hal, it's your turn.
So Hal, who's coffee droid that he's sort of temporarily piloting, has just sort of gone off the rails to go and scold Alex Normal Human, is sort of seeing what Falling Breach Gainer has done to Rooster, is horrified and still very much amped up, hyped up, receiving huge amount of power from all the radiation. I just want to check with the GMs, can I use Power Up, which in the rulebook only gives grip to informatic beings, to attempt to revive a Keelv who is stunned?
A Keelv's informatic, right? So I would say so. If Power Up affects Sapience, I'd have to look at it, but that sounds right.
So it can give technical entities grit, but I think in terms of curing stun, technically peers are the only ones that can do that to players as per CRB. So I'm making an off-menu request. Otherwise, I'll do something else.
I think it's fun if that is what Hal wants to do in this moment. Hal is an expert and can power up, and a Keelv is informatic, is at the end of the day a robot. So Seems fun to me. In this split second, all this is sort of happening, 1 second after the next.
Yeah, I like the idea also that Hal's like boosting her up, and she's like, "Oh, you did it wrong," and she's healing herself because she's immune.
Okay, so what I will do here is define a Keelv as, just to make it fair balance-wise, as an ancient naval weapon, ancient or high Tephnian naval weapon. So burn 3x grit times the stun value, and it was a stun 8, I think, wasn't it? So let's call that 24 grit as this algae oozes out and is scalding algae coming from the coffee, sort of slimes along to a Keelv's prone form, and you can see it's it's pulsating as it sort of enters various sort of cracks in a Keelv, and Hal sort of projecting. You just see that again, that sort of agent producer sort of avatar saying, "Come on, get up, come on, go, come on, get up, you gotta fight, you get one more, come on," or a boxing trainer maybe, actually. Yeah, no, it's projecting a boxing trainer and sort of saying, "It's not time to throw in the towel now, come on, Akil, get up, get up." Yeah, pulsing this energy through the algae, and I'll spend 24 grit for that.
Nice. And as it goes up, you see it like forms a new strange tattoo of like a wristwatch.
So, Akil is back on her feet, yes?
Yes, with, I don't know what her, does this power say what is returned grit health-wise? She's on her feet.
So grit-wise, the power-up as written just gives X grit to the entity, which can stack beyond normal limits.
Okay. She's doing great.
Akil, you come back out of a fairly pleasant sort of sleep or dream that you drifted off to, maybe a moment that you just maybe a little bit of peace that you haven't had for a long time, a bit of just listening to some music that you feel like you just drifted away for a moment. I think you come back in that moment to Hal's voice convincing you to get up and fight, as at the same moment the last screams of Rooster being torn apart echo across the Godown. Does Akil react in any way in that moment as she comes back to herself?
Yes. So Akil is very attached to Rooster. We've established this. It goes back a long time, 60 years plus, I don't know, 100,000 years or something that Akil has experienced in NARM that other people haven't experienced. Anyway, long story. If she sees Rooster prone, she's going to attack the nearest person. Well, Hal is tiny, so I think she's going to attack Alex.
Yeah. I mean, Alex or Falling Breach Gain are the ones attacking Rooster, so that would make the most sense here.
Yeah. Well, Alex is the one swinging around, So I think she wakes up and attacks with her sword immediately.
Okay, so she sees. We're essentially taking Akil's turn in combat that was skipped earlier, basically, as she comes back. Are you okay with that, Laura? Okay. So Akil comes back to herself. I think she isn't able to understand what Falling Breach Gainer has done, because this isn't something that is easily visible or something that she can perceive immediately. And all she can see is Alex wielding a weapon standing near Rooster. And so she attacks Alex directly. Do you want to roll for that, Jesse? That looked like an 11 based on lip reading.
I boosted it. She got a 2, but I boosted it by 9. She's very mad.
Alex, would you like to dodge?
I will try and dodge, although I understand what is happening, and I was personally horrified with what I just saw. My friend do rolled a 6, 5 + 1.
Okay, Akio.
Yeah. So, sorry. She's really mad. And she's gonna attack you with one of her swords, the first one that comes to mind, and it's gonna do. Let's see. 11 damage.
And I think that's the end for Alex, right?
So you're at 0 health. Do you
I'm
still
at
have
0
grit
health.
remaining?
I had 1 health and 12 grit remaining.
Okay. So I'd like to ask you what you think happens to Alex in this moment, because there are a few options. I think Exalted Nestweaver, the great city, the hope and the dream of Waitana resurrected as a power in the universe. She's still there in your head. And although you have been maybe not doing your best to balance the two halves of yourself and not to commit fully to her bloody mindedness, she's still there with you. And I want to just offer you the opportunity. Like, what do you think happens to Alex at this moment as he's run through by a furious Shutha, with one of her many swords in one of her many hands, trying to avenge the death of her companion for decades here in the Hellstraw?
I don't know if I have time to speak, but if I do, I'd like to say I'm very glad to be dying with my friends, and I tap, my sunglasses, and that's the last thing that Alex does.
Okay. So you all see Akil come back to herself and immediately run Alex through the heart with one of her blades, and he drops to the ground as she shakes him off, uninterested, presumably, in that, as you see your comrade fall. That's the end of the first round. So, Richella, I think as you reach out into the universe, you get 2 answers. The first answer, I think you see the path laid out before you, straight, black, unbreakable, and you see it leading away from where you are. You, in this sort of moment, you turn your back on the opening and the starlight and the populated galaxy behind you, and you face back into the path laid out before you, leading into the darkness beyond. And you see that somewhere down there, there are things that no one has ever seen. There's an ocean that goes on for eternity. There are things that you cannot imagine and cannot comprehend. And if you follow that path, you might be able to comprehend them, or you might not. But that path will take you there one way or the other. I think the other thing you see overlaid over that, and I think at this moment it strikes you kind of with the serenity and the sort of inevitability of that first vision. The overlay of the second is fury, because I think you tune into a little bit of Exalted Nestweaver's murderous rage that she is channeling into the two Waitons here in the room. And like in reaching out to the universe, you kind of brush against a little bit of that determination to continue the way that that she is determined to continue. And that means turning back around, keeping this end of the Hellstraw open, and that must be done at any cost, that we cannot let this end be shut off. So I think you get two answers here. And I don't think that it's not that you don't have a clear answer, it's that they are sort of superimposed on top of each other. One kind of stretching back into the straw of NARM, taking you somewhere that no one has ever been before, as far as anyone in any civilization can understand. And the other sort of in this moment, this very kind of direct and visceral experience of trying to deliver on the dream of a rebuilt Waitana by a creature so invested in that she is willing to do anything to accomplish her goal.
I think the thought comes to Rochella's mind almost in reply to this. The infinite couldn't possibly belong to anyone infinitesimal. And he's directing that thought towards the expanded, he like almost to like, he's not like spitting in the eye of God, but literally being like, you're not it. Like to Exalted Nestweaver. Nah, you ain't it.
Bean, just to add a little specifics there, because I think in the spirit of the power that you used, the specific advice you're getting from the, whether it's a mental construct or a real entity with whom you're speaking in your mind, up to you, but you understand that you're being told there are basically Exalted Nestweaver is powerful enough. Exalted Nestweaver will not die due to this. Exalted Nestweaver will protect herself and is a sort of force of nature at this point, is Waitana. And on the other hand, the Wraiths on the other end that will keep NARM open, there are enough Wraiths who are sided with the Red Pyramid, who believe this is a good thing, that they present a danger. But there are many Wraiths who disagree, and right now they are kind of all over the place. But it is possible that if they all resisted together, they would also form a kind of bubble of order. And that is much closer to you, in fact. So from Liquid Door, even Consort and Nettle Shield, although they can't fight due to their programming, but all the Wraiths you've contacted who have not basically decided to be murderous bastards could be on side. So there's a couple of points of hope from the various creatures you've met and their own ideas about right and wrong that are basically against the Red Pyramid going through the Baleful Core and taking over Spindle, and from it Terra and everywhere else connected. In this moment, I think we're still in initiative. Is that right, Jennifer?
Yes.
Do we want to add in that something else is happening? Someone else is coming onto the station. One last shuttle has docked, or is probably docked with Consort, actually, and they're come through Consort into the dock of the station.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this might happen on initiative. Ryan, if you want to roll for DTR.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jennifer, you want to keep going through initiative.
Yes.
In the end
so
game here.
We've got Cecil back at the top of the round. So the situation that we're currently in, Cecil, you've seen Falling Brooch Gainer. Depending on how Falling Brooch Gainer feels about the way that they have used the Excruciate power, I think any use of the weird powers, especially this kind of new use of the weird, might have some implications for like things are getting weird, and weird with a capital W. But you have also just seen this strange creature that you recovered a few days ago that has come back and has now stabbed Alex in the chest, and you have a moment now to respond. So, what would you like to do?
To know what Cecil does, I have to know what did it look like when Falling Brooch Gainer attacked Rooster. Because I'm not certain if Cecil has seen like overt aggression from him right now.
Ray, what do you think it looks like when Falling Brooch Gainer uses a weird power?
Yeah, I think using a weird power at all in this moment, it's quite obvious. I think they jerked upward. They pointed one of their many limbs at a rooster, and you just know it was them that did it.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to try to do what I failed to do to Alex. And had I not rolled a 1, he would still have been alive. So, Falling Brooch Gainer, I'm going to try to stun you with the butt of my rifle. And I will again boost this. Now by 6, but it won't matter if I roll another 1. I rolled a 8. That's right. I rolled an 18 to attack.
Would you like to try to dodge?
I could not, even if I had grit to spend to boost to dodge, so there's no point.
Okay. Cecil, what are you doing?
I am. So yeah, I pick myself up off the ground, observe the mayhem, and just swing my rifle around, and yeah, hit FPT in the back of the head, giving it which in a normal combat situation would have been a satisfying, maybe a bit crunchy sound, but at the moment, no, yeah, semi-satisfying. So yeah, the power is daze, and you are stunned for 1 round, and for the duration of combat you will have -2 to all rolls. So I think we don't have any combatants for this round.
Okay, yes. So Falling Brooch Gainer, you are stunned, and like just a swing from a massive rifle as Cecil kind of gets to his feet and uses the momentum of that to just crack Falling Brooch Gainer across the skull. If it's okay with both of you, Mike and Richella, I'll just collapse. You're right next to each other, so I'll collapse your turns together. What are you doing in this moment?
Opening my eyes.
Okay.
What about you, Mike?
Mike would be, I guess, getting up and just like in disbelief that Alex has been downed, but also looking up at Falling Brooch Gainer, now stunned. Like, what did you do? Yep, go ahead.
Is Alex like overkilled? Like that attack ate through all their grit. They are insta dead. There's no like bringing them up.
I think that's up to Laura.
Yeah, let's clarify for the record on screen. Laura, it is up to you. Is Alex dead, or are you saying Alex could be alive and just prone, just down? And that will affect to some degree what happens next game for sure. But you got to make the call for us. I interpreted earlier your speech as Alex died, and we're not seeing more action from Alex. But if that's wrong, please let us know.
You're muted.
Volume, Alex.
Sorry,
Or-
to me, since he only had 1 health point, and the damage was so massive. I mean, with only 12 grit left and only 1 health point, I assumed that he was down for real, especially since there is the burn damage that wasn't taken into account. So I'm assuming that it is indeed the end for our
I want to be clear,
human.
regardless, no offense, wife, but regardless of what the rules say, Laura, I want you to decide, no matter what the numbers say, I want you to decide what you think happens to Alex here. Do
You were
you think,
channeling a demigod.
what do you, like, is Alex dead or not?
I think so, unfortunately, because he was so unhappy having to deal with Exalted Nestweaver, and there was so much contradiction that it just tore him apart, quite literally. So yeah, unfortunately, Alex is no more.
Okay, so Richella, you can look over and you have a doctor's training. You can see in a moment that there's no life left in that body. There's nothing to bring back.
We do the kind of, we look at the body, we look at the person that just killed the person, look across the room. I guess what is everyone in the room like? What moment in time do I find myself entering this in? Would be, he's just like, well, shit. Like, yeah. You check out for just 6 seconds. 6 seconds.
Yeah, you sort of come out of this like vision of like these points of light, this hope, or this thing in the distance, this way forward, and you find yourself back in this very visceral, like blood and screaming sort of moment where everything is sort of chaos around you. Is there anything you'd like to do in this moment, because something is about to happen?
I mean, what can I do? I have an idea for a future thing, but in the immediate, like, I think maybe he's just like, if anything, he's just like, everybody, stop. Like, what the hell are you doing? And that's all he can. I think that's all he can do, really. I don't know if I should roll a charm roll. I don't think I'm gonna switch gears even to be more convincing. So I'd just be rolling a flat D8, and I guess that's what what I do. Here's my D8 charm. It's a 3 classic Rochella.
Okay, so you shout out "stop" into the room, and you kind of. Maybe there's a little bit of horror there as you kind of come out of this vision of like the things that could be the way forward, where everybody can be happy and everybody survives, and you encounter reality suddenly that is just so completely different.
Half of them are already dead.
Yeah, you just reach out with that will to stop people, and it's already too late. Like there's already people bleeding on the floor, and even in that moment that you took to step away, something had already unfolded at that place. I'm going to move on then. It's now Zeke's turn.
Mike,
and
I think I interrupted Mike though. Did you finish?
Oh yes, did you want to finish, Mike?
I didn't really have anything else to do, unless if Falling Brooch Gainer is like stunned and out of it, Mike would probably walk over and start like trying to tie him up, like, okay, I can't, I couldn't stop it.
Okay. So I think Falling Brooch Gainer in this moment, having been clocked pretty hard over the head by Cecil, is unable to resist that too much, and it is a bit dazed. So Mike, you're able to just kind of restrain him and prevent them from doing anything else for the moment. I think what you see now is Zeke had their pistol out and had this kind of moment to connect with Alex and to try to understand what he was doing. And I think they almost saw like Akil's sword come out of the corner of their eye and sort of drop Alex right in front of them as they had their, like, as they were looking at each other. And I think that is enough to kind of snap them out of that moment. And they look around and they can see this like not very rapidly dispersing, but like the room is kind of thick almost with a fog of the rust kind of red nanites that I think are kind of evaporating as well off of Rooster's body as she's kind of, her physical form has solidified, but the nanites are sort of deliquescing into the air around her. Hal, I think you get this sense, and even as you were close to Alex before, I think Zeke just sort of reaches out, grabs where you are like attached to the coffee machine, and you get this like quick ping from her, just a quick comms connection, and just a quick message that just says, just watch my back for a second. And you see basically almost in an instant, Zeke's entire body just melts into a sort of mercury type like liquid that then in a second later just explodes upwards into like a massive lattice of like shapes and archways and curves and up into the, basically filling the entire room. Like she's just gone in an instant from a person into a complex geometric shape. How you've seen this geometric shape before, you know what it looks like. And you just see her sort of like a kind of like arch upwards and like you kind of get the sense that there's a regularity to it. It's not a regularity that's easy to parse, but it looks like some kind of maybe mathematical expression or repeating fractal or something that you don't have at the moment the kind of presence of mind given the chaos around you to really parse. But it sort of reaches up and you see as it kind of assumes this shape, Hal, that you've seen before, it starts to change and it almost starts to like take on like growing new connections, and it's integrating with the cloud of nanites that are present in the room. And you see kind of where it does that, where it is able to kind of connect with and retrieve some of those like especially the most concentrated areas of these different like clouds of nanite mist that are floating around, that it is like growing these new connections that are that same rust red color that are kind of permeating through the like sort of white gray mercurial sort of liquid that has filled the room here. And that goes on for a few seconds as it sort of grows almost like a neural network kind of in three-dimensional space, reorganizing itself and taking on the information that is just hanging in the air around you, that's even in your lungs and in the metal and in the station. As you are sort of watching this happen, I think there's quite a bit of it that's left as well in the air. It doesn't take in all of it, but it's able to kind of integrate a portion of that, of those nanites sort of hanging in the air. And a moment later, the whole structure sort of like it stays in place for a moment and then it collapses back down into like a humanoid shape, a humanoid person. A humanoid person who looks a lot like Zeke did, a little bit taller, a little bit thinner. Somebody who like where Zeke had hair like the side of their head is shaved and half of their face basically is covered with Rooster's red like wire tattoos, and one of their arms is sort of half flesh and half integrated with the same kind of like nanite cuboid structure that you've seen before. And this sort of new person who appears to be a little bit Zeke, well, mostly Zeke and a little bit Rooster, sort of kind of standing there getting their bearings as your boss enters the room.
And through the aperture that would have connected through the Godown, your if they would sweat, they would be so sweaty right now. But you get that like body odor stench wafting through as they've been under very stressful few minutes. And they look around the room. You're all seeing Drumming Groan Renter, the refactor for the NARM desk, who usually, sort of ran your missions, but has had meetings on Spindle for the last few days, maybe a week. He goes back and forth like that. But they enter now and behold the sort of scene of carnage. One of their void miners dead. Another dead person, unclear. This person reforming. And as they're taking in the scene, sort of mutters like they're just so tired. How is there more surprises? Nettle Shield brought me up to speed after nobody thought to leave me a note that they were evacuating the Godown, abandoning the place, and I get back to dozens of wraiths now alive and chasing me, and oh my goodness. And now they're like starting to get worked up, and they look around the room and they say, no more fighting. And this is the power command. So there will be no more fighting. No one else is fighting in the room, as your somewhat former boss. I think the NARM desk is pretty well and truly dissolved after the events of this arc, but sort of occupying a superimposed currently and former your boss, Drumming Groan Renter, returns to the Godown.
And with that, Drumming Groan Renter was coming off through Nettle Shield, so the shuttle from the Baleful Core, from the Stiffworks, from Spindle. But during this massive spike in radiation and activity among the wraiths in the Red Ring, who've moved into the in the Bright Ring and who've moved into the Green Ring. So these Late Tephnian wraiths, most of whom seem hostile, were chasing the Nettle Shield. So the Nettle Shield arrived, docked with Consort, and now you have your two shuttles and the Godown. DGR's come through, seen this carnage, used command, told everyone to shut up and stop fighting. And you hear audibly in the air the thin atmo circulated, reheated, with the very thin pseudogravity of the Godown still in effect. You hear a horrible, wrenching pop as the first module implodes as a harbinger, a reformed mecha from 5,000 years ago, puts its fingers through the dock. And you are now no longer connected to the Sepidin-class shuttles, which are under attack and moving. But the Godown itself is now also under attack. You have the two Hichi comms reprogrammed by Rooster. You have your, no offense, Ryan, you're a lovely human, but completely useless middle manager boss. And your Banshee is now also maybe Rooster or a backup copy of Rooster or something, and maybe is made of not human stuff.
Easter.
It's Easter. We are at the end of the first half, so next week will be the big epic conclusion. Seems like everything's going your way, though, so I don't know. But we will find out what happens here with NARM and whether or not the Duke of the Red Pyramid makes it to Spindle next week on Sunday. Before we close it out, I'd like to give all the players a chance to say more. Maybe just a brief split second. You hear all this, you see all this, and that loud pop, you would know, I think, given earlier the discussion with Imago and Hal and looking at the tablet, you would know what's happening. What does everyone think? Just maybe players just jump in real fast as we're closing out.
So I think as Drumming Groan Renter enters, Hal will project a big, bright, cheerful banner that says "Welcome to the end of NARM," and project sort of a greeter that says, "Hi, welcome to the end of NARM. We hope you enjoy your brief stay." And then it flashes off.
Rochella picks up his gun, holsters it. All right. Time to get to work.
Any last thoughts, Ray, David, Hans, Laura from Beyond? You can still tell us what you think.
Mike is reeling, just like, oh boy. Okay, you two just fused. Oh boy.
Yeah, are you? Would you go by Zeester or Ruseek or Reekster or?
No, absolutely not. I don't know who I am yet, but I think it won't take me long to figure it out.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, recombination's not that weird.
Not for me, it isn't.
No, actually, really, yeah, that's no. It's pretty. No, it's normal.
Well, you hear the shearing away of metal as the Harbingers are just ripping apart the dock to enter the Godown. With that, I think we're going to end it unless anyone has any last thoughts. Remember, you need to file a report on this venture to your refactor. No, we will finish this venture next week and figure out what happens.
Drum and groan wrencher, right there.
Yeah, right there. You can just tell them. With human and weight and exploration NARM. If anyone wants to say anything, please do. Otherwise, we're going to end the stream. Big thanks to our players and GMs. We have a bunch of GMs, we have a bunch of players, and even more who've been in the community playing games up to this point. And we will try to keep the party going, but like I say, it is up to you how this all plays out. So next week, we will really be looking to you to move forward with the pieces of the puzzle. Thanks to everyone who's watching. If you want to hear more, join the server and come on, say hi, and we'll do some more wild, wacky campaigns. Any last thoughts? Okay, see you next week. Same time, same stream. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.